The following is brought to you by the People's National Party.
Make the trumpets play. Jamaican people want better. Economy coming like stormy weather. Ancestors are turning on them grave. We can tell me how we can do it together. When we look at the future of precipice, we see Jamaica needs the vision of the PNP. People said the bag of promises, them can't carry go shop. And the crime rate getting high, I wonder when it does now come Rex. Jamaican people want better. Economy coming like stormy weather. Ancestors are turning on them grave. We can tell me how.
The proceeding was brought to you by the People's National Party. The following is brought to you by the People's National Party.
Make the trumpets play. Jamaican people want better. Economy coming like stormy weather. Ancestors are turning on them grave. We can tell me how we can do it together. When we look at the future of precipice, we see Jamaica needs the vision of the PNP. People said the bag of promises, them can't carry go shop. And the crime rate getting high, I wonder when it does now come Rex. Jamaican people want better. Economy coming like stormy weather. Ancestors are turning on them grave. We can tell me how.
The proceeding was brought to you by the People's National Party.
Jamaica, your voice matters now more than ever. If you're 18 or older, make sure you're enumerated and on the voters list by the 30th of September. This is your chance to shape our future. Don't let it slip away. Remember, your vote is your voice. Together, we can make the change we need. For more information, visit markgoldingja.com/voters-guide. Let's do this, Jamaica.
So why you come to me with that foolishness, you know? You elect a prime minister, and is a prime minister run the country. It is time we learn to hold our leaders accountable for their actions and stop making excuses for them. Stop making excuses. Otherwise, go elect the people who really run in the country. And I don't want the right start that stupid argument. Hold the people you elect accountable. And stop making excuses for them.
Hello, welcome. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday to everyone in television land. Happy Tuesday to our silent supporters. Happy Tuesday to everyone in the chat. Thank you so much for your continued support. Really appreciate everyone. Tonight's topic is, Chopper Kings with your host Byron and Anne-Marie. Remember, when you come in, press that like button, share us out if you can. And if you're new to the channel, please show us some support by subscribing. That will be greatly appreciated. Guys, remember to go over and support Daisy Magazine. And it's to subscribe, it's www.maxter.com/p/Daisy. So go over there and show her some love. And remember the One Jamaica Legal Defense Foundation, guys. It's very important. So you need to donate, support. Really important. All right, before I hand over to Baron, as usual, let me welcome those in the chat. Beat and Teach, Truck Life, Dorothy McCoy, Sadie Dunn, Don Mel, Patel Crookshot, Leighton Brown, Noreen Dennison, Beverly, Jeanette Letts, Kemar Johnson, Laris Beckford, Youngans, Michael Urquhart, our channel member, Bless Up, Andrew Fisher, Rennie Swaby, Louis Longshaw, Yvonne Riley, Michelle McIntosh, Leighton Brown, Unique Ray, G. Angel, Rosa, Sam Allen, Vion Holness, Dorothy Brown, Sweeney. Welcome, welcome. Happy Friday. Sorry, happy Tuesday. Oh my God. Thank Baron, without any further delay, I'm just gonna hand over to you so I can do some housekeeping. Sorry, Kenroy Johnson, K. Watson, Alicia Wigan, Barris White. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Really appreciate each and every one.
All right.
Bonto, welcome.
Thank you, wifey, for that usual wonderful precursor in terms of greeting our wonderful guest, right? As it relates to persons in the chat, right? All of our subscribers, people in TV land, the diaspora, and locally speaking. Now, my Jamaican people, I want to say to you all that we have witnessed a very serious dilemma that is unfolding as it relates to the Jamaica Labour Party administration. But we have seen where you have persons who are supposed to be leaders of our society tend to now galvanize themselves and endorsing wrongdoing. Some of the reason as it relates to why they are endorsing wrongdoing is because of, obviously, their possible involvement. And I'm speaking to politicians, parliamentarians, who the Integrity Commission investigators currently have under their microscope. Now, two ways about it. We know that the Integrity Commission investigators, in pursuit of 8 members of parliament, the illicit 8, for illicit enrichment. And we believe, based on the Integrity Commission report that we have seen, that the Prime Minister and his wife definitely under the microscope. Now, let me say this. We are now, as what I am going to describe, that we are phasing through a political eclipse, not a dark day. This is beyond a dark day. We remember quite well, as it relates to Azan's situation of building 12 sheds for poor people. Azan, with his good heart, recognizing that these people are exposed to the element. And of course, Azan may not go through the established protocol, and as such, he was called up for circumventing the standard, the protocol. However, we have seen that the system punish Azan as it relates to that. Bless up, Brother Rattigan. Before I go any further.
He's not up. I haven't put him up yet. This camera is still off.
Oh, okay. All right.
All right, he's on.
Okay. Bless up, Brother Rattigan. Right. Further, sir. Right. Just, you know, a big welcome to Mystic Sensation. Yes. A big welcome to Mystic Sensation as always, my brother. Just let me give you the opportunity to greet your people. As I said, that your people are my people and my people are your people. So, Ratty.
One big family, one big family.
Ratty. Yes. So the floor is yours.
Someone big family. All the
Acknowledging
people in the chat, big up on yourself, big up on yourself. The people who in the chat and I watch, big up on yourself to Anne-Marie, Byron, family. Big up on yourself. We're there, we'll talk up the things, whole for things to talk about. Byron, call me to them with a praise and call me, you know. When people know I'm happy, when I see the phone, when I see the phone call, I say, yeah, because we never have to take you them go football practices. So I say, well, I want to Byron to call me to them. I see you call me say, yes. So I'm there, family, I'm there.
All right. One love and blessing, my brother. You understand? Of course, Ratigan, you understand? Family indeed. Right? Love him and always enjoying him and the program, right, as it relates to his analytical skills. Now, let me proceed. As I was saying, as it relates to the eclipse that we are going through, right, in comparison to Azan's situation, right, where he had, used his wisdom and realized that these people exposed to the element. And so then, as a good person, a caring person, a person who have, the utmost sympathy and empathy, right? Let himself in terms of putting himself into, the people's shoes and realize that, okay, all right, I can help them. And however, as I said, that he circumvent, right, the process as it relates to, the procurement process, and he was punished for that. Now we have seen that, of course, Andrew Holness said at the time that, it is not worthy for him to be sit in the parliament with Azan, to the fact that Azan facilitated, right, those persons' needs at the time. Now we are seeing a revelation here where the Prime Minister of Jamaica, under the gun, as it relates to what appears into the Integrity Commission report, right? Illicit enrichment, the possibility of money laundering. Of course, we have seen where donations, right, being collected, utilized under the pretext of charity and converted to the Prime Minister personal use, right, and all these things. However, we have seen that the evil that exists, right, running their campaign and want to defend the ultimate wrong. We are going to go through that tonight, right? We have seen Desmond Mackenzie came out, right, and want to defend the indefensible. Mr. Mackenzie, you cannot defend the indefensible. But I understand, right, you, as it relates to you defending that situation and as it relates to your mindset. Let me warn you, Mr. Delroy Mackenzie, that what you are now doing, inciting persons to go out on the street, right? In the long and short of it, inciting violence, political violence, because that is what you are doing in terms of my subjective interpretation. But let me say this to you, Mr. Mackenzie, Delroy Mackenzie, let me say this to you. What you have done, we have seen the similarities that you did in 1980. And I'm going to expose you for that. I'm going to let the people aware. I am going to make them cognizant of the 1980 in terms of your administration at the time and what your administration had done in 1980. Let me remind you, Mackenzie, where you are going. Because what you want to create 1980 2.0. Delroy Mackenzie, Jamaica is not going there with you. And why Jamaica is not going there with you as it relates to the allegation of illicit enrichment. Those 8 members of parliament enjoy their whatever, right, as it relates to the allegation. Non-Jamaicans, right, did not enjoy the proceeds as it relates to what seems to be potential criminal activities, right? For those 8 persons who enjoy, right, based on the allegation, right, and if proven to be so, right, who enjoy the criminal proceeds, right, they need to go out on the street. Don't involve, right, Desmond Mackenzie. Don't involve Jamaican people to come out, right, to come out and campaign for you in your wrongdoing. Don't involve the Jamaican people in doing that. The Jamaican people are smarter than that, right? You, right, along with the 8, are you a part of the 8, right? I don't know, right? Please leave the Jamaican people out of your political violence, what you are definitely pursuing. So, Mr. Mackenzie, we are going to remind you that this behavior that we have witnessed, it was the very same behavior that was exercised in 1980 that caused 150-odd elderly to be burned to death under your administration, Desmond Mackenzie. Under your administration, and we have evidence that we are going to show the people that it was the JLP administration, according to CIA report and revelation, that it is the Jamaica Labour Party, right, who planned it and executed it, right? And there we have over 150 elderly burned to death. We are going to play the video and we are going to hear people testifying as it relates to how the fire was so intense, and when people witness the skulls, the natural skulls of the persons who were burning, burst in the fire. Desmond Mackenzie, you brought out something in us that we are going to expose you tonight. We are going to expose you tonight. Now, let us begin our program. But before we begin our program, let us welcome Sister Maria, Daisy Magazine on the stage. And Daisy, please get the opportunity.
Hallelujah.
For people.
Hallelujah.
All right.
Hallelujah.
Bless you.
My brother, now look through me eye. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Ratigan, Mystic Sensation, and everybody in the chat. A blessed Tuesday evening to everybody. Yes, my brother.
Miss Clarendon. Hi, Miss Clarendon.
Fly over. Driver, don't stop at all.
Right.
OMG. Yeah, it's good to be back in this space. And given all the things that are happening in the government in Jamaica, you know, they really keep us busy, you know.
Exactly.
They really keep us busy because I've been, you know, with the reading of the Integrity Commission report, and you know, as you're going back, because to fully understand where we are right now, one always have to go back to get a full understanding of how the party has been shaped, you know, and to ask the questions. Where is there any good person left in the Jamaica Labour Party that can stand up and say, you know, something, enough. Something has to change. But we have not seen anyone willing to step forward and rescue the party from this corrupt person and administration, too many of them. And, you know, country is always bigger than party. The party can disintegrate, and things can get so bad that people decide not to vote for them, vote for a third party, and they become obsolete. But the country of Jamaica will always remain. Long after they're gone, the country of Jamaica will still be there. But what kind of a country will be left in their stead? Bustamante is gone. Edward Seaga is gone. And we're still reaping dealing with some of the ramifications of their stewardship. Is it possible that this current breed of Jamaica Labour Party people can do a better job and leave it a better space than they got it? And it's not about being against the Jamaica Labour Party. It's having a healthy democratic party that lives up to the ideals of the Constitution, respect the Jamaican people, live up to the principles of good governance and transparency. It should not be so hard.
Okay. Thank you, wonderful input, Daisy. But I'm going to say something that, right, which is, quite, for me, I have to speak as it relates to where my heart lies and, wanting Jamaica as it relates to move away from a party that is so corrosive. And so then I'm going to say to all Jamaican people right now that we have to send a message to the Jamaica Labour Party administration. And, in terms of, what I have spoken before, right? And we speak about a third party, right? Not having, the obvious, I would say, the capability to, at this time win an election. But I want to say right now that the Jamaica Labour Party, right, needs to be removed from our political system. And so then, this is where a third party can have the opportunity, right, to, at least venture. So, under no circumstances that Mystic Sensation would tell someone, you understand, to ever look into the JLP administration. The entire administration is a failure. So we want to make sure that we put in the People's National Party. And if God, right, abide with us, would have, might be the UIC for opposition. The Jamaica Labour Party is corrosive to the entire political process. Now we have these despicable, atrocious, and insipid human beings, right? Want to be wrong and strong. Now we have seen Desmond Mackenzie wanted to relive a 1980 situation, and so then just imagine that his administration, let me talk to Desmond Mackenzie. Your administration, sir, 1.7 trillion unaccounted for. And as it relates to that, one of the factors that caused inflation on the Jamaican people, pressuring the Jamaican people, and where it has, to me, subjectively, has gone into the pockets of politicians. And you are asking the audacity that you have, right? Where you benefited, and all of those who benefited, asking the Jamaican people now to come out and march with you. For what? For what? Right? Did I want to ask a question? Have they gotten any of the spoils of the 1.7 trillion? Did the Jamaican people, right, that you are asking to come out and march, did they get any of the spoils as it relates to the 1.7 trillion and all the hanky-panky that you have seen in the Integrity Commission report? Well, I'm going to deal with you, Mr. Mackenzie. Now, without any delay, let us get into the program, right, and deal with the situation at hand. All right, without any delay, honey, I want you to play this clip. I want to show Jamaican people, right, how despicable and atrocious and how insipid these people are. So without any delay, let us bring up the first clip.
Is that document?
Yes.
You want the document?
Yes.
Okay.
Let us bring up that to the people and show the people what is going on here. My. This is really despicable. Right? Now, after all the wrongs that these people have done, let us bring it up so the people can see loud and clear. Right? Okay. Now, so this is Dr. Clovis B. Nelson. Right? Urgent. And he has 3 exclamation signs. So you see how loud he showed that urgent. Urgent. Media releases. Ladies and gentlemen, concerned citizens of Jamaica will be having a protest tomorrow morning to express their dissatisfaction with the IC. Can you imagine? The IC that stand for checks and balance and to all a creature of parliament, to all parliamentarian responsible. But now you look down on the IC because what? The IC exposed the Jamaica Labour Party administration. So now you are on the campaign to do what? To eliminate the IC and so that your corruption can be flow. The Jamaica Labour Party administration corruption can flow unnoticed. Right? Just imagine the IC. What did the IC do that wrong? Right? The protest will be held at the address below. Please come out in your numbers to support the protest tomorrow morning in peaceful retaliation against IC, against the Integrity Commission. For what? For what? Mr. Clovis, what did the Integrity Commission investigators do? Did they break the law? For tomorrow protest. And he itemized. The IC has no integrity. My. The IC is Marty G's commission. The IC is loaded with PNP. Marty G hide his money in trust. No, this man is dunce. This man is back at the wall. This man is so despicable and so atrocious. Marty G lied on his declaration. Marty G did not declare his oath in Jackson. We're going to settle that tonight. Marty G hid from the investigative journalists regarding his assets. All of that we are going to settle tonight and show them and show evidence of your lie. The office of the Integrity Commission, 8 a.m. sharp, 4th floor, 6367 North Boulevard, Kingston, Jamaica. Dr. Nelson, it's a shame and disgrace. Take it away. A callous shame and disgrace. Right?
I think that release was sent yesterday. So
Yes.
the protest was today.
Today, yes. I know that. I know.
You know, they had so many people. Oh my God, they had so many people.
Yeah. I mean, people done with that.
I mean, the block road.
Yeah.
That's how effective they were.
Yes. Now, just imagine, right? that you want for the IC to be eliminated because the IC exposed the Jamaica Labour Party status quo of corruption. And so then, of course, you are going on your ranting. Now, without any delay, now let me show the other person who is going on the ranting. And this start from this man Mackenzie, hauling out, right, the demons of hell to come out and defend Andrew Holness. Andrew Holness, let me tell you specifically clear for Mystic Sensation. Andrew Holness, you are an embarrassment to Jamaica. You, Andrew Holness, Mystic Sensation is saying this to you. You are an international disgrace. And I'll tell you why you are an international disgrace. And you as the Prime Minister to allow yourself, I'm not going to accuse you, for you as a Prime Minister to allow yourself to be in a conundrum like this, you, sir, you are an international disgrace to Jamaica. You destroy the brand of Jamaica. And we see that you still want to burn down the entire political bridge. But we are going to deal with you tonight. Let us go get to another political miscreant. Let us show another political miscreant without any delay. Let us lift up that document.
So here we are on top of the roof at Western Children and Adolescent Hospital, where the team is actively securing all the debris, all the loose boards, plywood, and all that stuff that could possibly be used as a projectile should in case we get hit by Hurricane Beryl later on tonight into tomorrow. This is slated to be a Category 5 hurricane. And what we are doing now is ensuring that everything that is could possibly be used as a projectile should in case we get hit is secure. And here we are. These guys are using heavy-duty binding wires to secure all of that stuff. They are making...
Let me just stop that one. 1 sec.
Okay, my apology for that clip is just that we need to play in a chronological sequence as it relates to that. So let me just take back that clip and play as it relates to what he said. Right? My bad for that. Let me apologize.
This one.
Yes.
As labor rights, you ought to be proud. It is a proud moment. It is a moment that you must celebrate. That you support a leader who has been investigated for 3 years. And at the end of it, the findings were sent. The findings were sent to the director of corruption prosecution. The findings, the same findings we hear them attack. It was sent to the director of corruption prosecution. You sent there. Mrs. Prince Kamika read the report extensively with her team. And she concluded that there was nothing for her to launch or to move forward with charges against the Prime Minister. That is the crux of the matter. And that's where it stopped. That is the body that was set up to investigate parliamentarians and public officials. And the body came back with a report that says no charges can be laid against the Prime Minister. That is what the Director of Corruption Prosecution final report says. The opposition don't want to know these things because they're on a political witch hunt. They believe that they can use this sort of tactics to take over government. But we're living in a different time, Mr. Golden. We're living in a different period in this country where people are willing to give them life to defend Jamaica. This is a country that was enslaved for years. A fight we fight. We fight the British, we fight everybody to gain independence. Jamaica never get it for free. We fight for it. And we fight to get a country to a level where we can boast economic growth, where we can see development for our people. And so help me God, Mr. Golden, we will lay down our lives to protect this because me, now do this for me, I do this for me, Pitney and Grand Pitney will come. Somebody in the past did it and fought that we can benefit today. And I am sending this message to Mark Jefferson Golden and your goons that we are willing and ready to fight, put our lives on the line to defend this country and to defend we leader. Because we know the history of the PNP. We're not naive to it. We know what we do. We know what you're capable of. We've seen it. We live it. We live under the PNP for years. You think we're idiot? We live under the PNP for years. We know so the PNP can't grow economy. We know so the PNP only know how to share out and dish out money to give people money where they don't earn. We know that. We know so what is going on now is propaganda and PNP operatives within the media houses like Gleaner. We know that it's PNP operative within the Integrity Commission that is trying to keep this matter on the front burner, thinking that the Jamaican people are idiots. The Jamaican people are smarter than you think, Mr. Golden. Nobody not buying this damn stupid story. Because you campaign around Jamaica for years and you tell Jamaican people that the Prime Minister is corrupt and you tell Jamaican people how much they're under investigation for illicit enrichment. And when the report came out in the public, the Director of Corruption Prosecution said garbage. She said it is garbage.
All right. Now, Sister Maria.
Is either he cannot read or is just willfully ignorant. Because if he read this report and came to that conclusion, then something is wrong with his ability to you see, reading is one thing, you know. Comprehending is another thing altogether. Because there's the corruption prosecution who did not go through with charging the Prime Minister. She did wrong. She did wrong. And it's not the first time. However, that aside, Andrew Holness is still under investigation because the matter has not only been, it has been referred to the FID, the TAJ, as well as to the FSC.
All right.
So I don't know what it is that he's talking about, and I don't know who it is that he's talking to, but he's right about one thing: the Jamaican people are not fools because they see it for what it is. And people who are, your thing is, he just read it one time and just come up with some things because it make him feel good. But when you have to read it in small amounts, I read the whole thing, but you have to go back through with a fine-tooth comb and look at some things that it is that they're saying. And if you really want to get a full understanding in a brief synopsis of what it is that really the IC is saying, just look at the conclusion and the recommendations.
Exactly.
The man is in the Rotary, and the man is as guilty as sin.
Exactly.
So I don't see how it is he could come to the conclusion that there's nothing there and this is garbage. But then again, listen, he has a contract at Beryllium Regional. And is he an architect? Is he a civil or a structural engineer?
Yeah,
So
hold
he has
on.
every right to come up with that.
Hold on, Maria. Before I even get to Rattigan, let us show the people why is he defending the corruption. It is because he's in the trap. Let us just go right to it and show the entire world why this man came out and speaking bullshit. Now, let us get to it. Now, this man, as it relates to the Western, and this is the corruption that he's defending. This is the corruption that Chopper John is defending. Because Chopper John has placed on a site the Western Regional Children Hospital as the project manager. Right? And so then he's getting paid as a project manager and doesn't have the experience. So tonight we are going to expose him, Maria. Let us look and show the people Chopper John at the Western Regional Hospital. You understand? Claiming that he is on the site as a project manager. Without any delay, honey, lift up that clip because this won't get to Brother Rattigan. Lift up that clip and show Jamaica and expose Chopper John why he has to come out and defend the corruption, the status quo of corruption. Here is Chopper John, people.
So here we are on top of the roof at Western Children and Adolescent Hospital, where the team is actively securing all the debris, all the loose boards, plywood, and all that stuff that could possibly be used as a projectile should in case we get hit by Hurricane Beryl later on tonight into tomorrow. This is slated to be a Category 5 hurricane. And what we are doing now is ensuring that everything that is could possibly be used as a projectile should in case we get hit is secure. And here we are. These guys are using heavy-duty binding wires to secure all of that stuff. They are making sure that nothing loose is on top of this roof. And all these plyboards are secure with wires and they'll be anchored to the roof. Here you are. So you're talking about fully active as it relates to hurricane preparation. The crane is overhead, getting ready to pick up and to secure anything that needs to be removed. So they're going to be stockpiling them like we are here, and then we're going to be removing them to safer ground on the inside of the building so that should in case we get hit, the worst case scenario, we are secure. So here you are, Western Children Hospital, one chops, not two.
No, people. No, there is Chopper John at the Western Regional Hospital, right? Children Hospital, getting paid as a project manager, where Chopper John has no experience as it relates to civil engineering. People, let me show you. And this is the corruption of the Jamaica Labour Party. This is the reason why we have $1.7 trillion cannot be accounted for. We are paying Chopper John, who has no experience in civil engineering, how to read blueprint. And we are paying and Chopper John because Chopper John is a JP vlogger. And so they'll be rewarded as it relates to his vlogging. And so then Chopper John is coming out and defending the Jamaica Labour Party. Let us show Chopper John real profession without any delay. Let us show the people the heights of the corruption with the Jamaica Labour Party. Let us get into Chopper John experience. Let us get into Chopper John experience. I want the people to see it. Let's share.
Yeah.
Okay. My beautiful people of Jamaica, here is Chopper John, Christopher McCurdy, right? And a site project manager at the Western Regional Hospital. And this is Chopper John profession. Christopher McCurdy, senior culinary leader, executive chef. Argano Garment, Cornell University, Atlanta, Georgia, United States. Right? A skilled culinary professional recognized for a comprehensive knowledge of international cuisine and innovative approach to the complete dining. Right? This is Chopper John. This is Chopper John, right? Profession. And Chopper John is placed at the Cornwall Regional Children's Hospital doing project manager, where he has no civil engineering certification, right? We don't know if Chopper John can read blueprint. And dear Chopper John and the Children Regional Hospital cooking up steel and cement and stone. Now, Chopper John, who is a food and beverage person, right? At our building, cooking up steel, cement, and stone. This is what we call the heights of corruption in the Jamaica Labour Party. So we want to show the people, you know, whosoever Chopper John is influencing, right, to come out, right, for the Jamaica Labour Party. Whether yesterday or in the future that he's going to do it, I am showing you the corruption of the Jamaica Labour Party. Where Chopper John has no experience in civil engineering, right? Cannot read blueprint, and Chopper John is getting project manager pay. You understand? Even more money than an ordinary project manager. You tell me if this is not the corruption as it relates to the Andrew Holness-led government. Now, what we are going to do as it relates to what Chopper John said. And this is where Rattigan is going to come in, and Sister Maria, we are going to break down some things as it relates to what Chopper John said, speaking about referencing the report, right? And where he spoke that the corruption prosecutor, right, claimed that, you know, there is nothing. So we are going to go through the report again tonight and show Chopper John, you understand, to shut, right, his mouth, because we see that it is dunceness and steroids. Dunceness and steroids. So we are going to show Chopper John, right? We are going to get into where we talk about Barita, right, investment, right? We are going to get into that without any delay on it, and we are going to ask Sister Maria and Brother Rattigan, right, to come in and analyze some stuff tonight. Now, can you bring up that document, Oni? The Integrity Commission report.
Before you go there,
yes,
I want to say a couple of things. One is, you mentioned that somebody, who is it, Dr. Nelson, said that they want to do a peaceful retaliation.
Yes.
Right? Yeah, retaliation, that's a strong word. Says peaceful retaliation for what IC did. IC did lawfully. Right? No, and he was asking people to come out. I don't know how many people come out, but you know that there's something called a Public Order Act in Jamaica.
Roughly about 8 people come out. Roughly about 8 people.
8. Because we have something called a Public Order Act. We have something named a Public Order Act, and here's what it says, and I'm very familiar with it. It says, it shall be on Section 6, it shall be unlawful for any public march to take place in daylight unless a permit has been issued in respect thereof.
Yes.
You have to have a permit. And it goes on to say, where any person desires to organize any public march in daylight, he shall, at least 3 days before such intended public march, make application for a permit to the senior officer of the JCF for the parish in which the public march is to take place, or to the Commissioner of Police if the application relates to the corporate area of Kingston and St. Andrew. So I don't know if they get a permit. But here's another section. It says, there's a section that says if you organize one, oh, here it is. Any person, this is section 12, any person who organizes or attempts to organize, or incites any person to organize or take part in any public march in contravention of the provisions of this part shall be guilty of an offense, and on summary conviction before a resident magistrate shall be liable to a fine not exceeding, listen to this, $100, or to imprisonment with or without hard labor for any term not exceeding 6 months. So what it's saying is that if you just, what he did was in contravention of the law. If you organize it and it's public, he went out and everybody had the thing when he said, show up.
Yes.
You have to get your permit. You have to get your permit before you can do anything like that. That's number one. Number two, I just send you a document. I want you to put up that document for me, and I share it with you. Now, here's the thing. No, I don't respond to, I don't like responding to anyone but people who can make a difference in the lives of the Jamaican people. What do I mean by that? I will respond to the Prime Minister, Permanent Secretary, a parliamentarian, a senator, somebody of that nature, police commissioner, head of another, any agency. I will respond to them because they're in a position to make a difference in the lives of our Jamaican people. I generally don't respond to people who are mouthpieces for any party. I just don't respond to those people. Now, why do I say that?
Yes.
I say that because I'm only going to respond to this because he came out loud and clear and strong and telling people all kinds of nonsense. Now, he didn't have any proof, folks, but when you know everything and stay, we read, we comprehend, and we disseminate. We're going to disseminate something now. Remember what I'm saying now? Him said the corruption prosecutor read the report and said there's no charge to be brought.
Yes.
So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you the report and show you what the commission said and how many recommendations they made and to whom they made the recommendations. Now here's the first one. The first one, 6.2.1, it says they're referring to the Director of Corruption Prosecutor for consideration of only one thing, whether or not a false statement was made.
Exactly.
It's the only thing. Look at number 2. They're gonna send something to the Tax Administration of Jamaica regarding the filing of nil income tax for the 3 companies owned now or at some point in the past by the Prime Minister: Imperium, Estate Bridge, Positive Media, well, 4, and Green Emerald. Not sure about Green Emerald if he had owned it, but certainly they're going to look into the companies and tax filing. That's number 2. Follow me now, people. The first one, false filing. Here it is right here. False statement. Second one, tax implication. Third one is about the funding and operations of Positive Media, Positive Jamaica Foundation, and Green Emerald. And this one they're sending to FID for them to look into this, about the income generating capacity of the companies relative to funds which have been identified in their accounts. That's 3. Here's number 4. They want to talk about Mr. Norman Brown, a business partner of the Prime Minister, who was appointed by the Prime Minister to the Urban Development Corporation and the Housing Agency of Jamaica, and he's in business with the Prime Minister dealing with the development of real estate. Think about that now for a second, folks. These 2 agencies, they are the largest government agencies in Jamaica responsible for developing our real estate. And the Prime Minister is a business partner of this man, a private business, and he put him in charge of both of them. You see that there could be a conflict of interest. Well, there is a conflict of interest there, right? So that's number 4. Look at number 5. Number 5, they said, okay, we're going to refer this now to not the FID, but the FSC. What is this? It's the $50 million loan that the Prime Minister got from Barita, which we will talk about. Mystic will talk about later on in a few minutes, right?
Yes.
So that's number 5. So the number 5 is going to FSC. Number 6, they're also asking, well, part of 5, they're also asking for FSC to determine whether or not Barita complied with the law. And last one, they're asking for Parliament and the Cabinet Secretary to look at strengthening the laws so that parliamentarians they're not exposed to conflict of interest and criminal activity where they're buying and selling shares, and at the same time they're responsible to some degree for controlling the buying and selling of shares. You can see where insider information would play a role here, right? There's another, yeah, that's it. And then, on FSCs. So this is, you see how many things I've mentioned? 1, 2, 3, 4. I think it's 6 of them. 6. No, let me show you something. No, let me go to and just show you one more thing. Now, this is the report filed by the corruption prosecutor, right? So we see where the commission said, corruption prosecutor, we're sending you only one thing. We're sending you just for you to look at a false filing. That's all we're sending it to you for, right? And look at what she said right here. She said, it was alleged right here, it was alleged inter alia, among other things, that the Prime Minister committed the offense of making a false statement in a statutory declaration, right? Now let's go to the last page of this report and see what she said. Here's our ruling. Here's our ruling. In light of the foregoing, there is insufficient evidence on file to establish that the Prime Minister, by way of omission, made a false statement in his statutory declaration for period ending December 31st, 2021, as it relates to Bank of Nova Scotia savings account 60, 42, 21, and 64. Accordingly, no charges are to be laid. No charges are to be laid against what? This false statement.
It has
and as you would say, sir, I'll take it away.
Yeah. Well, based on what we read over here, let us speak to.
That's the only thing.
Yes.
That's the only thing she was responsible to do, to make a ruling as to whether or not he made a false statement. Exactly. That's it.
So let us speak to Chopper John, because this is dunceness and steroid. Now, so Chopper John, remember, in the report also, where we see, right, semblance of, as it relates to money laundering, right, the IC did not make any recommendation, right, for the corruption prosecutor to look into that. Right, that is situation where what's the
FID
FID is going to deal with, right? Now, what I want to stress on, right, that many people may just overlooking it. The Prime Minister. Let us get back to Barita. We can bring up the document and show the Barita thing, because this is very serious with the Prime Minister. Extremely serious with the Prime Minister. And we're going to speak as it relates to the seriousness where Barita is concerned.
Barita, you can go to page 71, 70.
No, 156, 625.
625.
That's a recommendation. That's a recommendation. But if you want to see the layout.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
If you want to see the layout, then you go to 70. I think it's 71, 63. I'll tell you in a second. I think it's 71, 67, 8. 70, 71, hold on, 72, 73. Hold on, I'll tell you in a second. Give me 1 second, I'll tell you. Page 77.
Okay, please, all right. So, Ratty.
Yeah.
Go. All right. As it relates to 6.1.7, right? Because you're sending me to go through the details in terms of the Barita situation. But look at the conclusion here.
Right.
6.1.7, the DI concludes that the conduct of Barita in its grant of a 50 million loan to Imperium raises several prudential concerns. The DI's conclusion is grounded in the fact that collateral said to have been provided for the loan either did not exist in the name of the borrower, which is Imperium, or did not exist at the material time. Also, a legal mortgage which should have been registered in favor of Barita was not registered. No, let me go to the panel.
What was that? Sorry.
Huh?
I didn't hear you.
You want me to read that over?
Which one? No. I'm fine.
Okay. All right. Ratty.
Yes, sir.
What that seems to be saying is that Imperium, right, was offered a loan without the appropriate security. Is that correct? Am I misinterpreting what I'm seeing there?
No, you're absolutely correct. Here's what happened, folks. The Prime Minister, who was the owner of Imperium, he owned 100 shares. He owned 99. One was owned by Mr. Azan, and at some point in time, he transferred his 99 to his son. So his son owns 99 presently, and Mr. Azan still owns one. But at the appropriate time, they secured the loan from Barita, and they were supposed to put up collateral. They use a fancy word here. Where is it? There's a fancy word. Oh, hypothecation. Hypothecation. It just means collateral for the loan, right?
Yes.
And here's what they did. He claimed in his statutory declaration, the Prime Minister, that when he got the loan because he put up 3 assets. Said he put up shares, 10-point-something million shares in a company called Derrimon Trading.
Mm-hmm.
Then he said he put up insurance policy, and he put up that insurance policy was for a piece of property. Now here's what they did. So we have property, insurance policy, and shares. And he said, based on that, they gave me the 50 million. Now, when the Integrity Commission went and looked, they found out that the loan was given before the assets were put up. And in fact, he used the money, the Prime Minister used some of the money, the $50 million, to buy the shares, which he then turned around and said, it's this. And then they found out that the property wasn't even owned by Imperium. The property was owned by ADMAT.
All right.
Exactly. And ADMAT was dissolved. And then they created Imperium. Yes, and it became Imperium.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct. And there was no fire policy. Because here's what happened. When they went, they said the fire policy, according to one of the statements, they said, but the land was not developed. It was just real estate, it just land, no building, nothing. So they said then you couldn't have a fire policy. All right.
Ratty. Now let Mystic Sensation slide through this right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to slide through this. Based on what we have seen there, we know that would determine that to be an unsecured loan. Am I correct?
Correct.
Let us get back to 1995. Why am I getting there? Why Byron shouting 1995? Is to show you, people, I want to get your ears here. Andrew Holness, who always claim and tell lie that the PNP caused FinSac. This was the very same misconduct in FinSAC that caused the 1995 financial meltdown.
No, but no, it created the meltdown created FinSAC.
Yes.
So it was Central National Bank, Eagle, whatever, that whole debacle. So the government now had to step in and they created FinSAC. So FinSAC was not a scandal. It was created to deal with this very same situation that Barita now finds itself in.
Very same situation. No, and Andrew Holness. And you're right, Sister Maria. Right? Andrew Holness, come now and repeat it. Andrew Holness. And that is one of the reasons why, right, Andrew Holness administration, right, will not reveal the FinSAC report. Because in the report, it tells you that Dan Crawford, right, had done the same thing, had given Edward Philip George Siaga, right, how much $1 million unsecured loans. And here it is in Barita. Andrew Holness executed the very, very same behavior that caused FinSAC. And so then you will understand. It's just that we want to show Jamaican people, right, the corruption, the art of the corruption, where the Jamaica Labour Party administration is concerned. Now, I want to get into something
before you move on from that, you know, remember that that's a part of the same Barita thing is that they have also they have also recommended for an audit to be conducted by the Financial Services Commission of Barita's operations to determine whether they are compliant with the law, industry standards, as well as the terms and conditions of their license.
Yes.
So, but we also have to think of SSL, which was just the other day.
Exactly. Look at that. But again, what we want, I'm going to come to Ratty again as it relates to this current situation that unfolded today. Ratty, we are going to read the documentation and then we break it down. Without any delay, let us put up this document. Government.
Okay. I just blew paper plate out the chat.
And we are going to, what is he saying?
Just blow him out the chat and send him paper plates and I blow him out.
Okay. And come prepare tonight.
Why send them paper plates and blow him out? Exactly. After have a foolishness.
All right. We are going to get to this situation and break it down. Right.
Okay.
All right. This is what transpired today, Tuesday, September 24. Let me read that. Government lawmakers vote against motion to refer Integrity Commission report to FID. Now, this is showing me that the entire government, right, who want to prevent FID involvement is just blatantly showing people that they are corrupt. If you have a government who want to show the Jamaican people, right, that they are innocent, why are you trying to prevent FID to investigate? Why are you doing all of what you are doing to prevent FID to investigate? Remember, you are innocent. You claim that you are innocent. So why are you going through all of this to prevent the FID to investigate if you are innocent? This is just ludicrous. Now, here it is. Government lawmakers and the Integrity Commission Oversight Committee on Tuesday morning voted against a motion moved by opposition legislator Julian Robinson during a meeting of the committee. The motion calls for the Integrity Commission Oversight Committee to support a referral of an investigation report dealing with the statutory declarations of the Prime Minister Andrew Holness to the Financial Investigation Division for review. Robinson's motion was supported by its opposition colleague, Philip Palwell. Director of Investigation at the Integrity Commission, IC Kevin Stevenson, said there was sufficient basis and wished to make a referral to the Commissioner General of Tax Administration, Jamaica, and the FID for a determination to be made as to the appropriateness of the filing of nil tax returns by Prime Minister Holness. The Director of Investigation also wants the FID to determine whether there is any financial impropriety on the part of the companies owned or part owned by the Prime Minister. Member of the ICOC, Colonel Charles Jr., charged that the IC made prejudicial statement in its investigation report on the Prime Minister's Statutory Declaration, which was tabled in Parliament last week. Quote, open quote, is this a matter of malicious prosecution? Charles, close quote, Charles question. Astride and Charles also charged that the investigation report and the Prime Minister was laden with procedural irregularities. Charles said the IC should be compelled to certify the statutory declarations of the Prime Minister, noting that the Director of Corruption Prosecutor at the IC ruled that no charges should be laid against the head of government. Let us take that away and get to the point.
Okay.
Now, Ratty, as it relates to what Charles said, I want you to update us that he wants to move a motion to have the Integrity Commission compelled to certify the Prime Minister's statutory declaration. Can you put that in detail for us?
No, that's foolishness. That's absolute nonsense. Let me share another document with you because we have to show people them things. Because we don't want people go out and say, well, we don't want to be compared just like the others where them just say what come to their mind. Exactly. We want to show the people them exactly what we are talking about and say, exactly, this is what we're talking about. I just sent you the thing, the IC. Okay.
Yes.
There are many provisions in the Act that give the Integrity Commission the absolute right, the authority to work with a whole bunch of agencies, including international agencies.
Exactly.
In the pursuit of their investigation. Now look at 3. 3A says, in the exercise of its powers and performance of its functions under this Act, the Commission shall not be subject to the direction or control of any other person or authority other than the court.
Okay.
So how Parliament going to tell them can't do that? That's nonsense. And look at this one here. It's 6. Hold on, it's 6. Yeah, 6K, right? Look what it says. They can collaborate or cooperate with any persons or bodies, whether in Jamaica or outside of Jamaica, duly authorized to prevent, combat, and investigate acts of corruption so as to implement an integrated approach to the eradication of corruption. They can do it.
Exactly.
Here's another one. There is 7.1. Here's another one. 7. Subsection 1. The Commission may, in the performance of its functions, work in cooperation with any person or body as it may deem appropriate. It not say them have to go through Parliament. What happened is that them just get outplayed. Them get outplayed. Yes. Because here's what happened. The PNP say we don't have to go through Parliament, but them put it there so that them can come on the record now and say, no, we don't want it to go on, and they say, okay, we'll see what the corrupt ones now.
Yes,
we'll
exactly.
See what the corrupt ones. So them walk right into the trap. Right into the trap. And when we're talking about compelled to certify, this is nonsense. So Colonel Charles Jr. doesn't understand. But you know what happened? I am confident that when these people go home, it's not what I'm saying to the public, you know, is when them go home and them have to talk to each other and them say, you know, the Prime Minister, you know, based on everything that we've seen, I'm sure they're saying to themselves, the Prime Minister guilty. Him guilty.
Exactly.
But here's the problem. If the Prime Minister is guilty and they have to move him now, who will replace him? They have no suitable replacement based on what I'm seeing. None. The party going to implode. They have none. I remember them have an election coming up. If this had happened like 6 months, if the election was like 6 months ago, they'd gladly get rid of him because they have 3 years, 4 years, 4.5 years before they can call election. They can put somebody in and groom that person and work with that person. But it's hard to do it right now on the cusp of an election. An election is within what, 11 months? It's less than a year. Yes, less than a year. So what happened now is that they have to deal with this, but there are lots and lots of provisions. I've gone through this document. Lots of provisions where the Parliament is, look, Parliament doesn't have the right to examine decisions, investigative decisions, and prosecutorial decisions made by the Integrity Commission. They don't have that right. They have the right to make sure that the thing is properly funded, that they you know, that for human resource things, administrative reasons, yes, but for investigative reasons, no. That investigative reasons is clearly within the province of the Integrity Commission, the courts, and the DPP. That's where it is. It's not with the politicians. So for them to jump in right now, no, you don't know what, no, them just don't show them colors now, you know.
Exactly.
They just show them colors now, say, we don't want this, we don't want, and the question people going to ask is this: why don't you want it? You said you are the ones who come out and say we are for eliminating corruption, for controlling and eliminating corruption. And here it is that you have a question as to whether or not the Prime Minister has committed an act of corruption. And you're saying, no, we don't want anybody to look at this. We don't want anybody else. The corruption prosecutor said she's not going to prosecute. And by the way, her judgment is suspect.
Yes.
Suspect. Here is what, but you know what happened now? Here's what the opposition should do at this point, since they already raised the motion. They should now go have the commission request that the acting DPP take a look at this. And let me show you the statute under which the section under which. Here it is. Look at 4. It says, without prejudice to the provisions of subsection 1A, which is deals with the Constitution and the right of the DPP to take over and investigate prosecutions. It said, the director of corruption prosecutor may, acting on his own volition or upon the request of the commission, request an opinion from the DPP as to whether or not to initiate criminal proceedings. So what they can do, what the commission can do, is request an opinion from the DPP. And I say, since you already have out them as one of them has been corrupt, do it to the DPP. Send it over there and say, we want you to take a look at this in terms of prosecution, and then let that DPP render an opinion. And then what you do, you cast light on the whole of them and say, look on the whole of them. Whole of them is just a bunch of corrupt people. Whole of them bunch of corrupt, including the DPP, but don't leave her out. This is what they should be doing next. They should do this tomorrow. They should go to the commission and say to the commission, listen, you need to ask the DPP to render an opinion.
Exactly.
That's it.
Exactly. So, exactly. I love that, Ratty. No, so as it is in terms of Colonel Charles Jr. beating we know as it relates to there are provisions that, as what Ratty was explaining, provisions that allow the Integrity Commission, you understand, to merge their investigation with competent bodies.
True.
And when we say competent bodies, Simple means it can be the JCF. It can be the Tax Administration of Jamaica. It can be FITS, right? Am I right, Ratty?
Yeah. Yeah.
Competent bodies. So then there is no way that the Parliament can stand, right, in the way of blocking, right, the Integrity Commission investigators to pass on the investigation to FITS. So, I mean, we have to make the people be aware of that. Now,
yeah, but 1 second. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Let me just share the screen again and just again, we are talking facts around here.
Facts.
Share that from me, please.
Okay, we'll share it.
All right. It's what it said. For the purpose of this section, competent authority, people who them can work with, means the DPP, the Attorney General, Tax Administration Jamaica, Financial Investigative Division, FID, local.
Yes.
The Revenue Protection, the JCF. These are all people that they can work with.
Okay. But you know what? Them say context matters. So let us read before we come down there. So we can contextualize the entire thing and make the people understand. That not really watch what you see President Charles Jr., you understand, beating up himself in Parliament today. Let us go to the top and read everything in context.
Okay.
All right, and so that people can understand.
It's Mr. Rattigan controlling.
Oh, so Rattigan, yes.
Oh, I mean, control it. Yeah.
Yes. So read in detail so the people can follow you and understand that don't get, the people don't need to get worried in saying you need to listen to President Charles Jr.
All right. Here's what happened. Remember now, there's a MOU between FID and Integrity Commission,
Yes, memorandum of understanding.
Yes, so that they can work together. And look at 12. It says, subject to the provision of this act, the commission may, with the approval of the minister, enter into a memorandum of understanding or other agreement with a competent authority. Now let's see what a competent authority with them. See right there. So competent authority means DPP, Attorney General, Tax Administration Jamaica.
Okay.
They do have a memorandum of understanding with them that they can work together. So that's it. We don't need Parliament. So when them do them, I'll draw them out today, Then draw them out today. So I want them draw them out tomorrow. I want them going out to the DPP, and say, hey, the corruption prosecutor said that she's not prosecuting, and so we're asking for your opinion on it. Because I'm telling you, I've read the corruption prosecutor's report, and it is abundantly clear to me that there is something wrong here with her analysis. There's something wrong.
I do agree with you, Ratty.
There's something wrong with it.
Yes.
So, folks, them can't. This idea that we have to go through, we have to go through Parliament and we have to do this and that. You don't have to do any of that. Trust me, you do not have to do any of that. But
all right,
them draw them out.
All right, let me take it away, Ratty.
Let me take it already. We took it already.
All right, but let us try to explain to the people this investigation in terms of FID's involvement. What FID's involvement means. Now, when it comes to illicit enrichment, one of the main focus as it relates to the Integrity Commission investigators was to focus on Andrew Holness' statutory declaration for 2021. And as a result of Andrew Holness' statutory declaration 2021 into a conundrum, it is also going to affect previous statutory declaration based on FID investigation. So I want to expound on it, right, and show people where this is going. Number one. Yes. Number one.
I was going to say, here we go. But go ahead.
Yeah. Holistically looking at the report, right? And what the Integrity Commission investigators, right, are tracking is, number one, the source of fund. The source of fund is fundamental. Now, in the what I observed, Ratty, and I want to ask you, right? Because I think that the Integrity Commission, in terms of looking at Andrew Holness and give some background to it, I think they would have a bigger scope if they look on Andrew Holness between the period of the first timeline, between 2006 to 2009. And one of the reasons for me to say that, because 2006 to 2009, as it relates to ADMAT. So, Ratty, let us talk about ADMAT. Sister Maria, let us talk about ADMAT. ADMAT, right, being established in 2008, right? Just hold on. Let me just take the caller, answer the caller, because I might be, we don't want the caller credit for run out, Caller, pleasant afternoon. You're on Mystic Sensation Live. Yes, go ahead.
Good night. 3 questions. You are right.
Okay.
All right. The first one. Knowing how Mr. Holness set up Jamaica, in every department, him have somebody there to back the bar. One. Can the Integrity Commission or the opposition call in a foreign investigator like the FBI or the Scotland Yard or whoever who don't know more? Next thing, the woman when he in charge, the corruption prosecutor, can she get charged for not carrying out her function? Because clearly what is happening in Jamaica, they from Mocha to feed to tax admin, everybody is a web. So there's nothing that will come out of it because they are web. That's one. Two. And the next one now, to Clovis Nelson, those things that he put in, can he get sued? And Mr. Watson, this is the next one. Can you sue a person for money and then send him a prison too? So you can file and confine, and I yield back and listen to the answer.
All right, thank you, Sister Patricia, for that. So,
all right.
What in context, in summary, what Sister Maria is saying, because she's concerned as it relates to the systematic corruption, and she is concerned that as a result of that, right, we may not get justice. She touched some point, Ratty, right? What say you on those issues that Sister Pat touched?
All right, quickly, can they cooperate with international bodies like the FBI, Scotland Yard, RCMP? Yes, it's written in their statute, and I just read it, the 6K. They can collaborate or cooperate with other persons or bodies, whether in Jamaica or outside of Jamaica. And there are several provisions. That's just one. To the best of my recollection, there are about 2 or 3 provisions that would allow them to work with overseas law enforcement agencies. Number 2, you ask one, can you sue the corruption prosecutor for dereliction of duties, or can you prosecute her for? What you can do is you can raise the issue with the GLC, with the General Legal Counsel, the same place that now they're looking at the DPP, and they have ISAT over there, and they have a few other attorneys over there. Yes, you can raise it there, but in terms of suing her for failure to perform, that's going to be difficult. Your best bet is to take her to the disciplinary board, the GLC. Can you sue Clovis? And can you sue him for money, and can you sue him for and have him go to prison? It's two separate actions. One is civil and the other one is criminal. Citizens can't bring criminal actions in general. They can't bring criminal actions in Jamaica. It has to be brought by the DPP or someone authorized to bring criminal action, like the corruption prosecutor or somebody over at FID or the Attorney General, whatever. But a private citizen can't bring a criminal action. A civil action, yes, you can bring a civil action. The question is, what would you bring the civil action against Mr. Nelson for? Because right now, based on what he did, the government can actually certainly arrest him for violating the Public Order Act. They could certainly do it, because there are certain things that you're supposed to do or certain things you're not supposed to do. For example, you're supposed to get your permit before you can protest, and if you organize it without that, then certainly the government can go after you. And then there's another question. I forgot that there's another question she asked. There's another question she asked. She asked if they could cooperate. She asked about Clovis. She asked about the corruption prosecutor. And I think there's another question.
Yeah, if we can
put it in the chat.
Cooperate with the FBI and so forth. And
yeah, I answered that. Yeah, I answered that one. Yeah. I think there was another question, but essentially that's it.
Okay.
All right. Somebody LT Eats just hit the nail right on there. It is my belief.
Yes.
I'm subject to being fully corrected, but it's my belief that in order to apply the right amount of pressure to the Prime Minister and those who support him in government, you would have to look to agencies outside of Jamaica.
True.
I firmly believe that. You have to look for agencies outside of Jamaica. Because to do it inside of Jamaica, it's going to be difficult, because you see what they did today in Parliament. Just think about it. FID reports to Ministry of Finance. Ministry of Finance reports to the Prime Minister, and you can see where some influence would be brought to bear there. I'm not saying that the Prime Minister, that the Integrity Commission would capitulate. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that when you have the Prime Minister basically overseeing an investigation of himself, because if he says to the Minister of Finance, I need you to tell me what's going on, he's going to take a Minister of Finance with a backbone to tell him, no, I'm not telling you. And we don't think that we have anyone like that, at least on his team right now, who's going to say, no, I can't, ethically and otherwise, I cannot do it. Speaking of which, one last point. I went and looked at well, I did it on Saturday, but went again and looked at this at the workshops that the Integrity Commission did for them, for good governance and anti-corruption. And I mean, it's an amazing thing. And if they would go back and just look at their notes, they would understand that what they did today was a slap in the face of integrity, was a slap in the face of good governance, of openness, of transparency, of everything that they got the training on. Everything that they got the training on, it's just a slap in the face to all of that. Because if they followed what they were taught, they would have said, Mr. Prime Minister, you know what? The investigation must go on, sir. We have to run a clean government. We have to start someplace. And you know what? We always say, if the head of the stream dirty, the rest of it dirty. And you have to start the corruption up there. So, and here it is, we get a chance now to start with it, to deal with it up top. And the people themselves, no. No.
The cook and Charles, they basically were on the same thing about there's nothing to see here. It is final. They made a ruling. It's a case closed. Now they need to certify. But if they read the report, they could not have come to that conclusion, because in page 149, 612, The DI concludes that on the basis of the analysis conducted of Mr. Holness's Imperium assets, liabilities, and income for the year 2021, there does not appear to be any unexplained growth in net worth. In 2022, however, the DI found what appeared to be unexplained growth in Mr. Holness's Imperium net worth of just over $1,930,000. The DI's conclusion is premised on the fact that based on the evidence available to him, inclusive explanations provided, the increase observed in Mr. Holness's assets or net worth cannot, without more, be justified by his own income and liabilities. The DI was, however, hindered in his attempt to fully resolving this issue on the basis of Mr. Holness's refusal to provide him with a breakdown of his expenses for the period covered by the investigation. This refusal on the part of Mr. Holness inhibited the DI's ability to make a more comprehensive and final assessment of Mr. Holness's assets, liabilities, and income. In other words, the DI was not in a position to determine what portion of Mr. Holness's income was used for living and other expenses, and therefore not able to assess and not available for asset acquisition. So when the Cook and Charles are saying that case closed, it needs to be certified, this is why they cannot, because the information that they asked the Prime Minister for, he has refused to provide. Did they not read this part? Or did we make, or are they not going to say that we made this up, we put it in there as AI generated? Because this is what we're reading, and this is just only a part of it. It goes on further.
Yeah, they even talk about it from that matter. They were saying that they can't tell where that money came from.
Ratigan, remember that there's the loan that they said it was Barita, one of the company loaned money to Positive Media lending money to Imperium or whatever, and that it was Imperium that was funding. But it turns out that Imperium is not in a position to fund Positive Media. It's Positive, some mix up right there. And because one of those companies has a $20 million balance.
Yes.
So how then can you see what I'm saying? So how can they now come to this conclusion that it is a story? Certify this thing. It cannot be certified because the man refused to cooperate. He cooperates on some things, but he doesn't cooperate on everything. So it cannot be fully ventilated.
Remember, we shouldn't forget the $94,000 US dollar bond. We shouldn't forget that. When the money comes from Positive Jamaica Foundation and from his account, and then he collected interest over the years. And it went to his personal account. And when the bond was called in, the money went straight into Imperium, right? And it was only, and they used it for 3 years. And it was only when the Integrity Commission started asking questions that they took out the share for the foundation and sent it back to them. Well, how can you say there's nothing here to look at?
And go back to Barita, because remember now, a secured loan is when you provide collateral to get the loan. But the loan was unsecured because he got the loan without providing any collateral whatsoever. And it was after the fact that he then went and provided collateral.
Yes.
You see, questions were being asked that say, oh, here's the collateral. So he got the loan already. So it's pure backwards thing going on. And let's go back to when the Prime Minister was doing all of this. When everybody was on lockdown, nobody could go anywhere, but he was busy studying. He could do a DLP in that time, as well as have all these business transactions going on. And let's not forget, he has there's in the report there's about a Wycliffe Place property that they have, and when you stop to think about it, and then let's go also to the Norman Brown situation where Norman Brown is his active current business partner. The Prime Minister oversees the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation. Now, from that ministry can come contracts. Is the Prime Minister giving contract to himself via his business partner? You also have to look at, him appointing his, as the commission, the report asks about the conflicts of interest, appointing his business partner at the UDC and the National Housing Agency. Those agencies do certain businesses in terms of real estate. Now, these two men are involved in real estate. Now, should I ask the question? Is it an unfair question to ask? When these houses are the houses, the chicken coop that they give us and call them houses to these people, were these houses built by companies associated with the Prime Minister? Are the people getting these houses through the Prime Minister's business? You follow what I'm saying? Because there's this conflict and this mix-up going on. There's no separation of church and state. Everybody mix up. So you have to come and ask these questions, though uncomfortable they may sound, or vulgar. One has to ask those questions. And as it relates to FID and the FSS and FSC, and those organizations should be separate and apart from the government. They should stand independent of the government, though funded by the government. So when they're independent, then the Minister of Finance should not have any oversight of FID. It should be independent in the in the law enforcement agency, whether on the Attorney General's office or something like that, but not from the Ministry of Finance, because there you can have the undue influence where the Minister of Finance is not going to want to investigate his boss, though he should have the backbone enough to say country over party. This is not the party, this is the country, and I have to stand up and defend the country. And I'm beginning to wonder now, is that why Nigel Clark decided to leave? Because he couldn't bring himself to not investigate his boss.
Okay.
So these bodies, and on the issue of Clovis Nelson, and they're basically inciting violence against the Integrity Commission members.
Yes.
Because one minister went out and he was like, they need to go out and march. And this man is asking hungry people to go out and march for a man who has 28 bank accounts. Now, when they go out and march for this man who has 28 bank accounts, when they go home, are the children belly full? Do they have food? Do they have hospitals? What does it change for them? How does it change their life in real time when they're out there defending a man whom they have no connection to, they cannot identify with? And further, to be calling for, protests against the Integrity Commission. They named them the Integrity Commission. These are people who are doing their jobs. And in other jurisdictions, and you go out there, they would arrest them. They would arrest them. So I cannot see how it is these people are allowed to do that and get away with it. And the minister is allowed to incite violence and get away with it. This cannot be allowed to happen. And since the Prime Minister cannot be held accountable, nobody should, they don't have the moral ground on which to stand to hold anybody accountable in Jamaica. Right? They do not have the moral ground. And everybody, the young people need to start do like Andrew Holness now. Because he's doing things and getting away with it. And it is not fair to the people who are feeling the pangs, the full length of the law, the full arm of the law. But here you have a man who needs to get the same treatment, and you hear that there's nothing to see here when it is there in black and white.
Exactly. Thank you, Sister Maria, for that. But Sister Maria, Brother Rattigan, let us touch one more of the technical area that is really very serious as it relates to the Prime Minister. We are going to go into SSL because let us find that Sister Maria, because you have gone through the document, the truth be told, right? Because I'm so busy, I'm so with the I've not even gone through this document really and truly. SSL, because the last time that I read through, right, I am not seeing, right, where the Prime Minister from any of his accounts, Ratty and Maria, where money would have, taken out of the Prime Minister account and go into SSL. I'm not seeing that situation, but I'm seeing where SSL, right, the Prime Minister is getting money from SSL. We want to get back there because Mario, do you know which page that is?
Yeah, if you got, it's 85, 87, 88.
Yes, find it. Honey, let us explore that. Because SSL is a very serious
When
situation.
you find it, Mr. Rattigan, just share it with me, please.
This seems to be the
If you go to 5.8.75,
yes.
5.8.75 on page 85,
Okay.
down at the bottom.
All right, let me just share the screen.
You want to put it up?
Yeah, if you found it already.
It's up. It's up.
Okay.
There it is, right here.
Okay.
Yeah. If you look right here, you see where it says,
yes,
in the bold, during 2019, I encashed, because they're asking him where he get the money from for buy the bond, right? That's the question. It's right here. Mr. Holness was asked to indicate to the commission the source of funding for the placement of the bond. An explanation was provided by way of letter dated September 23, 2020. And here's what he said. During 2019, I encashed the total balance accrued in my U.S. repo account, generated from interest payments from bonds at Stocks and Securities Limited.
Stop right there, so because I'm big trouble tonight, you know. Big big trouble tonight. Right? Now, let me just read the underlined portion again. During 2019, I encashed the total balance occurred in my U.S. repo account, generated from interest payment from the bank. People of Jamaica, locally, I want you to understand this, what the Prime Minister is saying, right? As it relates to 2019, generated from interest payment from bonds at Stocks and Security Limited. Now, we catch him with hands in the cookie jar. Now, Ratty and Marian, you tell me this and that, what the Prime Minister said. SSL, Ratty, wasn't doing any investment.
Yeah.
So all the Prime Minister have gotten return on his investment.
Interest payments, right.
No, look here. I want to show the entire world this, you know. I want to show the entire world this, and this is why I come back here in terms of what Andrew Holness is saying right here. Open quote. During 2019, I encashed the total balance occurred in my US dollars repo account in bracket, open and close bracket. What does that mean? Generated from interest payment from bonds at Stocks and Security Limited. Let me stop right here so people. SSL, right, was not doing legitimate investment. Based on the investigation, SSL were actually stealing investors' money. They weren't investing. So I'm asking Andrew Holness, and Ratty, I want you to tell me if I am asking, you understand, irrelevant question. If SSL wasn't doing any legitimate investment, Ratty, how would the Prime Minister return on his investment?
Can something go so? What can go so?
What can go so?
What
Crazy.
can go so? No, the Prime Minister has to say this. And this is one of the reasons why FID, the Prime Minister, is going to be in a big trouble. Bangara. Because if the Prime Minister is saying that this is one of his source of funds, right? Well, this is a big lie. So then, if SSL, right, was not doing any legitimate investment, How could the Prime Minister getting money out of SSL? And the question now, Ratty, how much did the Prime Minister put in SSL?
That we need to find out. That we need to find out, and we don't see that in the
Exactly.
report.
You see him getting money from SSL, but there's nothing about when he deposited, when and how much did he deposit into SSL. You know, but the thing about this in a Ratigan Mystic is that starting at 2021, do his statutory declaration is not going to show you a full picture. It has to go all the way back to 2007.
Exactly.
To fully ventilate his statutory declarations and get a full picture as to how the source, you know, how his lifestyle is being financed, the source of income. Because 2021 is like you're starting in the middle of something.
But look at 20, the second entry on this page here.
Yes. 0509-2019. Payment from Stocks and Security Limited via First Global Bank. US dollars check.
$30,000 US.
$30,000. This don't make no sense.
Look further down.
059
But it's
31.
that one day.
Come here, Jamaica. Come here, Jamaica. Hold on the Ratty. Come here, Jamaica. Jamaica. Lord Jesus. A bunga on us tonight. No, sir.
But that you look at that, but also what between Positive Media and Estate Bridge, the amount of money that was passing through between Positive Media and Estate Bridge between 2020 and 2023, June 2023, $473 million and $427 million. This is what is he? Is he a businessman or the Prime Minister?
Right.
Because this doesn't.
And we draw 470 something, yeah.
But Mara, let me ask one a question here because I cause a little trouble tonight, you know. Cause a little trouble tonight. So if the Prime Minister get them the breed of money they out of SSL, we don't know how him, we don't see no from a track, no evidence as it relates to him putting in money into SSL, right, to get whatever return on investment. So if the Prime Minister get that, how much you cross carry get?
Right. I remember now, this is 2019, you know, because the one I'm going to show you before, it's 2019 too. Him said, he tried to say at Stocks and Security, right, it's 2019. So here is the 2019 one I'm talking about. So in 2019, him get 40, what's that, $73,000 US dollars.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's 75. 74.
No, this is
both in the same day, Ratigan. You notice the same day.
Yeah, same day.
May 9, yeah. May 9, 2019. Both the same day.
Yeah.
What currency was this? NCB account?
US.
The foundation. Oh yeah, US in the middle. 100,000 a month before.
The month before. No.
Yeah.
And what's this on Ratty? See it here? The same day, right? You have a $30,219.18, right? US, people know say US.
But for that, but hold up a second. For May 4, okay, no, April 4, sorry, April 9.
April 9.
May 9. Okay, so April 9, May 9, May 9. So you have three transactions in the same day. And you have one for
no, I think
two
it
for
might be
SSL, two for SSL and one for Bank of I'm sorry?
I think it might be September 5.
Oh, September. Yeah, I'm reading it the other way. Yeah. Sorry about that. Yeah. It is September 4th and September 5th. So 2 days and all these transactions in US dollars. Because you have National Commercial Bank, you have Bank of Nova Scotia, and then you have SSL through Global Bank.
Yep.
It's sad, you know?
There's another. I think there's something else on the next page too.
This is crazy. This is really crazy. This is really crazy.
87, 88. Seat right, that's on 5.8.82.
Yes.
When I'm saying, consequent on the above, the Director of Investigation deemed it necessary to examine the 2019 statutory declaration submitted by Mr. Holness, which reflects an investment of $94,000 with NCBC, and he gave the source of funds for this investment as accumulated bank balances and withdrawals from investments held with SSL in the name ADMAT Incorporated.
Oh my God. Look here. Look here. The Prime Minister trapped himself. This is very serious for the Prime Minister. I am telling the Prime Minister that. With confidence, with great confidence. The Prime Minister trapped himself right here. And that is one of the reasons why I see the Parliament and everybody who mix up in the corruption, you understand, they try to protect the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister cannot be protected. This information here that we are getting, that we are looking on, the Jamaican people need to ask Andrew Holness and the Parliament, right? SSL wasn't doing any form of legitimate investment. So how could it be that the Prime Minister get return on his investment? People think what we are saying here.
Right.
Here. This is not something we are making up.
But that is one thing. What is the source of this man's income? That is where he's getting all this money from. You see, and that's what I don't understand. You know, you see the money going, and it's the millions of dollars you're talking about, and I'm like, what is the source? There's no black and white. There's no way to connect the dots. Okay, I don't know.
I'll show you something about source. Hold on. Take a look at this, right? When you say this, you're going. Well, people who haven't seen it, they're going to faint. Hold on. I just want to show you a bank account where I have. Oh, hold on. Let me pass this. Hold on. Give me a second. Give me a second. There is a like a bank statement, like a chart with some accounts.
Somewhere in the 50s.
Yeah, it'll come up.
Yeah.
5.4. No, Byron.
Yes.
Anne Marie. Well, see already. Everybody in the chat. Look on this Citibank account right there. So this is what will kill him, you know, because I touch the American banking system, you know.
This is a problem.
Look on it. Look. It's a last. Let me see that. Hold on. See there. Citibank. Right. From second from the bottom. Look how much money you have in that account there.
The 713,000
US dollars.
US dollars.
Yes.
Right.
Look at the second one from the top. That's US dollars too.
67,000.
Yes. And then there's another US account right here. Look at the one right here for 51,000. The last one, that is a US account.
So let me ask you a question. Let me ask the question. So, as it relates to the Prime Minister company, what sort of business that the Prime Minister company companies are doing in terms of attracting profit? Let me ask that question.
Well, ADMAT was supposed to be a holding company, right? So ADMAT never make widgets, never involved in anything. Them claims it was a holding company.
Yes.
ADMAT transferred its assets to Imperium. Imperium started out being a construction company and then suddenly changed to assets.
Okay.
Changed to an asset thing. And then him take fee 99 and give it to his son. Then you have Imperium, him still have Imperium. It's Positive Media.
Positive Media, and yes.
Him son have Positive. Him used to have Positive Media, and him claims a Positive Media used to do media thing, but it was media thing during COVID when nobody now do nothing with the media. And them make money, and them claim say they make money, and them claim say them file nil tax. and yet still the director of investigation found out that they make something like about 20 million or something like that. And he said, then how you make 20 million and you say you don't make any money, you not make pension, have no income, and you file no taxes. And the same thing they found with Estate Bridge, and they found it with 3 companies. Estate Bridge, Imperium,
and Emerald, something like that. Emerald.
This one was busy being a banker instead of being a prime minister, you know.
But he has to be shuffling. He has to sit down at night time and be going through his all these 28 accounts to check the balances and what came in and what went out and what is coming in tomorrow. I mean, you look at it and sometimes we laugh at it, but it is so serious. Because what job does he really have? Is he a businessman moonlighting as a prime minister, or is he a prime minister moonlighting as a businessman? Because none of this makes any sense.
Okay, so this is crazy. This is crazy. But what we are talking about here, we need to make the people understand. We are talking about some shell companies that Patrick Bailey set up for Andrew Holness and other members of parliament. Now, these shell companies, huh?
No, keep talking. I'm looking for
companies are not companies, they are shell companies. So they don't operate in terms of, like an ordinary company who is operating for profit. Like said, Crichton Brothers then, who's selling hardware stuff and so forth, and they are making a profit, based on the market, buy and sell and or whatever. Right? What sort of situation as it relates to ADMAT, right? What you call it? Emerald, Imperium, and Estate Bridge.
Because there's no physical structure, no business.
You don't have no physical structure where people employed. This is crazy. People, this is crazy. So the Prime Minister is in a conundrum. And then, the most hurtful thing of this, right, is the Prime Minister want to use might to beat down right. So let us ask. So, Ratty, I want to ask a question. To the fact that the Prime Minister is the subject of this particular investigation. Ratty, under normal circumstances in terms of any democratic country and the purpose of democracy, isn't that the Prime Minister need to take away himself?
Yeah.
So not to interfere or interrupt the investigation?
That would be the right thing to do. Now, look at this. This is the one that Sis was mentioning, right? All the money go between the 3 companies, right? 3 companies in Estate Bridge, Imperium, and Positive Media. Look at the bottom. Look how much money they pass between the 3 companies. Look at the bottom.
153 million.
Yeah. And with 127 million. Look at some of these deposits. Look at the first deposit. 145 million.
Okay. So what you see there,
and there's a 148 million too from NCB in account ending 666 Imperium, 148 million. See it right there, NCB.
And look at what the withdrawal right after that.
150 million.
Yeah.
Because State Bridge, the first one, 20 million was 766,000 was withdrawn. And you look at these things and you ask the question, really, Mr. Prime Minister? And this is just this is what? 2020 to June. What year? To June 13.
3 years. Yeah.
2020 to 2023, 3 years. And this is the Prime Minister doing exceptionally well.
Here, we're only talking about 8 accounts, and it's 28 accounts a month. This is just 8 accounts right here.
So where's the money coming from?
Okay. Ratty, stool up a little bit. Okay. What it there? What it Chamber 16 internet work deposit and withdrawals by bank account from 2020 June to 13, 2023. Let us start this. Let us reason here at
There.
the Prime Minister take 3 years, right? Within these 3 years, to amass, go down the bottom right, to amass, okay, $473 million. 3 years. The Prime Minister paid. The Prime Minister income, salary, right?
Oh, and remember now, all of them companies that pay 0 taxes, them say them don't make no money.
Yes. The Prime Minister's salary is roughly about $9 million.
9 million.
Hold on, man. It's a bang around here. So 3 years.
So, but yeah, go ahead.
The Prime Minister doesn't. If the Prime if 27. If the Prime Minister don't use 1 cent from out of his salary for the 3 years, the Prime Minister salary would 27 million. Ratty, the Prime Minister's salary would be 27 million for the 3 years between 2020 and 2023.
Yeah.
Now we are looking at the Prime Minister generating $473 million. Now, between those 3 years, where did the Prime Minister get this money from? Now, look at the withdrawal. The Prime Minister withdraw 427 million. Right? What might be, by me just looking at it, would roughly a remaining balance of my about 40-something million. But there. Now I am asking, where did this money also go? Where did that money go?
When you go through it, you see where one company alone, so them have no money, but them loan another company some money, and then the same company who get the loan start loan some more money to another company, and it's just so them start move the money around inside of the 3 companies.
Hold on here. Let me just give this to the people, because what this look like to Ratty, and let me just put it to you. This to me also resemble tendencies of money laundering. Now, this one we look on here, Ratty. Tendency of money laundering. And let me tell you where I'm going. If you go back to Nigel Clark, Foundation, in the election years of 2018, we see a large pool of money dumped into Nigel Clark Charity Foundation in 2018, which was roughly about $27 million. $27 million in 2018. And in 2020, we see a large amount of money again, roughly about 33 or 35 million dollars again in 2020 dumped in Nigel Clark thing. Now, the purpose of Nigel Clark Foundation, you have people in the constituency who are saying that, you understand, they did not see where, as it relates to the purpose that was being utilized in the constituency any time.
True.
No, here it is, clear evidence, right? That the Prime Minister has relates to 3 of his shell company, Positive Media, Imperium, and what the next one?
Estate Bridge.
$473 million. Jamaica want to ask the Prime Minister. Prime Minister, come out and tell me, where did this money come from? And guess what? This is the reason why the Integrity Commission investigators have to now recommend this to feed. Because the Prime Minister don't want to explain, you know.
Also, there I forget which page it is, where there's something, there was talk about him. He's a landlord. He has a place up in Mona, collecting rent there. But there's another place in the report that talks about them him building other property, having developments. You know, so I mean, like I said before,
several times I give contradictory answers, but answers that him give and what the bank give is completely different. Like, for example, you can tell the bank verbally to make some changes, and the bank say, no, we don't operate like that. It has to be in writing. And he might insist him tell them, so they must do it, and the people who's supposed to make the changes say, no, we never get that. That has to do with the bond. And him say, oh, I told them that they should have made the changes and blah blah blah. And the people them say, no, you never tell us that. That's not how we operate. And then him take the interest, him put it on the statutory declaration, and it was only when Integrity Commission come on and said, hey, Mr. Prime Minister, you need to explain this. That was when he come up with this excuse saying that, oh no, I told them to do that. Let me see if there's something else here. There's something else here that I think I'm going to like. Hold on a second. I think I'm going to like this one now. Hold on. This guy said it best. Here it is. You can play that and you see and you hear what happened.
Okay.
It only like about 2 minutes.
Maverick.
People.
Oh, the Maverick.
And this is a valid question that Jamaican citizens ought to be asking of your Prime Minister. Now, I'm going to simplify it for you. Bro God, but that's why you come tell Jamaica how you get rich. And that's that the people want to know. And that the Integrity Commission want to find out. And that most well-thinking, honest, unaligned Jamaicans want to know how a Prime Minister gets so rich while in the office. Name the pan business all over here, so hundreds of thousands of US dollars. Name the pan account over there, so hundreds and thousands of US dollars. Name the pan offshore business accounts, hundreds of thousands of US dollars. The people them just want to know how a Prime Minister gets so rich. So I'm not bad mind. Remember, so we live in a culture where people for eat food, you know. Jamaica people are bad mind like that, you know. People for eat food. Me the African will tell you, say, me believe people for eat food. Me see some man make some money in this, and in the world generally. And in this right also. When me have to look on them and say, yo, me rate them man there. Because them do what them do to make them money, you know. And some of the things where them do, me can't do. I would not do. I don't have the heart and courage to do. But them do it and make them money. So you see, me personally, as a capitalist, me respect people who make money. But there's a difference. Whether you're Prime Minister, your chief servant, the chief proprietor of taxpayers' money. There's a difference when you're the head of the stream and you get richer. The people them just want to know how the Prime Minister get richer. And me just want to say, if the Prime Minister say work hard, the Prime Minister, him say my poor people picnic, Board House, Cumberland Road, Spanish Town, him say, we respect and we rate the journey. So it's an inspirational journey in the Prime Minister. So even me personally that want the Prime Minister to just clear up that something. Come tell the people them how you make them money, man. Come tell the people them. Make it an inspirational story.
Ratty.
yeah. So get how you can follow the pattern the Prime Minister and start make some money too. So then the crime will come down.
You see the Magnitsky Act, what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Magnitsky Act, there are elements of it in the Integrity Commission's report. So there are parts of it that we can take out and package it properly and submit it. And we are going to do that.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for that, Ratty.
Yeah.
Now, it is extremely serious as it relates to the Prime Minister, right? The Prime Minister have a problem in terms of explaining the source of funds. Based on what we are seeing here. The situation centers around the source of funds, which hinge on illicit enrichment, right? I mean, for them and those and the naysayers who are talking, they need to look into, you understand, the document, read the document properly and understand what the document is saying holistically. Than coming out and try to, you understand, create mayhem and want to have a 1982.0 Desmond Mackenzie and, you understand, the whole oath of evil, right? I mean, we are not bad mouthing the Prime Minister, bad minding the Prime Minister. What's that of foolishness this? The fuck of the matter, we are looking at something where the Prime Minister cannot explain its source of wealth. And that is very serious.
But also, you look at it, you know, the Prime Minister is his own client as well. When you look at positive media, the JLP is a client, his own constituency is a client. Those things, the morality, they're the ones who like to talk about morals, you know. And he said, Mark Golding, even though the Constitution allowed him to have a British passport and sit in the Parliament, he said that was incurable and untenable. What does he call this? This a person with 28 bank accounts and businesses just shuffling money here. I mean, you know, like the tree card man. How does he all people? What is the source of your funding? That's all. And if the members of Parliament had any integrity whatsoever, they would demand of him that if anybody should be hauled before the Parliament, it would be him. To say, seriously, this is problematic. In a country where corruption is rife, this is problematic.
And one of our brethren just reminded me that Barita is not a lending institution. So Barita wasn't supposed to get no loan. So that's another reason why FTC have to scrutinize them carefully. Where them get that the money they're from and where them give them for, because them they not the loan business. So boy.
Barita is a reminder of Central National Bank, Eagle Merchant Bank, and as recent as 2020, was it 2022? Yeah, 2023?
Yes.
SSL. So these things are fresh in people's memories. And so to make these referrals was the right thing I see to do.
Hold on, Mario. Because as Rattigan just talked about Barita and the Prime Minister, right? And his whole oath of liars, right? Speaking about the People's National Party, about FINSA, and here's the Prime Minister as it relates to Barita. Don't deceive. No, let us find a clip. Do we have that clip on it? Where we have the Prime Minister says. Let me just.
I'm looking for.
Hold on there. I have to. Camera. Yes, this one. I'm coming, people. I want to find it. You're the Prime Minister here.
Okay.
Here, the Prime Minister relates to FINSA. You're the Prime Minister.
We cannot in any way allow the performance of the government to be devalued in the minds of the people. I find it a curious argument that the party that is responsible for FINSA, the greatest devastation of Jamaica's economic base because of great poverty in the country. It's a curious position from a party that decimated Jamaica's middle class, Jamaica's skills and talent, where all those people left the country, not just with their skills and talent, but with their resources. That under their watch, murders crossed the 1,000 threshold and have stayed there since. Curious argument. But them
to want to rehold the office of government purely on the basis that some time has come. There is no commitment, no vision, nothing has been put forward that would demonstrate that they would be able to handle the challenges that we have had as a government better than how we have done it.
Now, take with this. Sister Maria and Brother Ratigan, you don't want, it can't get wickeder than this. This man is 100% pure evil. Knowing to the fact that it is his party, caused Finsa. You understand? Each party caused the financial meltdown. Let me correct it. You understand that also create Finsa to bail out the situation. Sorry about that, Sister Murray. Right? His party, where Dan Crawford, same thing that Andrew Holness now is doing as it relates to Barita. The very same action. The very same action. And that is Andrew Holness telling people, right, not to vote for the People's National Party. Can you imagine? We don't want it. We can't get it.
What is FinSAC? What is FinSAC? FinSAC is a financial sector adjustment company. It is not a banking institution. It's an agency to hold them accountable. That's what it is for. And it was set up, and they had to step in to prevent the Jamaican economy from collapsing totally, given the debacle of Central National. And it was really focused around two banking institutions. It was Central National Bank with Don Crawford and the Eagle Group with Paul Chen Young, right? So that was where that was the nucleus of the financial crisis in Jamaica in the 90s. So to prevent it, and people lost their livelihood in those two banks because Central National Bank was operating like Barita is operating right now. Central National Bank was operating like SSL is operating like right now, which caused SSL to also collapse. So FinSAC was created to help put in place legislation to prevent another such crisis. So FinSAC bank, that is the first thing that Anthony, and they need to stop behaving like FinSAC is a bank. It is not. It's an agency to deal with the banking, to hold the banking sector accountable and to put in place checks and balances for the banking sector. So it is disingenuous of Andrew Holness to come out and say that. And their leader was the one who forgot that he had a loan with Central National Bank. And Central National Bank's founder, Don Crawford, he appealed this case all the way up to the Privy Council, and he was still held accountable for it because he still owes the government of Jamaica $45 million. So how can he be? And Central National Bank was favorable to the Jamaica Labour Party. So since he's going down that rabbit hole, we can go down there with him and take him to the earth's crust and show him the facts, because the facts do not lie. So why then, if since FinSAC was a disgrace and a national scandal on the PNP, release the report. That's all.
Just release the report.
Yeah.
All right. Sister Maria, we have our final document that we want to touch. Brother Ratigan as well. And, you know, it is someone who sent me this topic to, you know, have a discussion on it. And this issue is with 18 degrees now. And let me say this, right? Because, you know, I have given Zara Burton kudos as it relates to how she handled herself in terms of certain investigation. But there is certain issue as it relates to Mark Golden that she mentioned. I want to just put up that document and read through it. And let me say this, right? Now, it's just a matter of opinion as it relates to, you know, the window that Zara Burton is looking through, right? But I think I beg to differ where Zara Burton, as it relates to, you know, the probity into Mark Golden. And I just want to put up that document and read it and read it through, break it. Find the 18 degrees north on it.
Okay. Thank you, Larkland, for that super chat. Really appreciate that.
Big up yourself, Larkland.
You were saying on it, some source of funds is a challenge for the PM.
Exactly. Not to worry about that. Let us get into this document as it relates to Zara Burton. Now, as Zara Burton read, it's here, right?
Yeah.
Even as PNP touts opposition leaders' consistent certification by Jamaica's Integrity Commission, doubts arise as to whether Mark Golden declared house in 2021 and before. Now we are going to read this. This story was first made available in full to paid No, I don't need to read that. Mark Golden lives on Ferrington Drive in St. Andrew. And government document, he uses that address. But when it comes to the issue of whether he declared this upscale property and his Integrity Commission filings, Jamaica's opposition leader and president of the People's National Party wrote to 18 degrees north, "It is not my house." Now there's the house. Now, instead, an entity in the tax haven of the British Virgin Island, of which he and his wife are the only directors, Tajiba Limited, owns this property in a neighborhood where single family homes have lifted recently at close to $1 million or 155 million Jamaican dollars. In response to a line of questions in August about his offshore companies that presume that the Ferrington Drive house was declared, Mr. Golden unexpectedly corrected that presumption, writing an open quotation here. The real estate referred to in the published summary of 2021 Integrity Commission filing is other property either owned by my wife and I jointly or being by me individually. This statement raises question about whether the house Mr. Golden lives in was ever declared to the Integrity Commission and whether it was even required to be declared. It also begs the question whether the Commission form as designed is effective in capturing all these assets of public officials. Background to Tajiba Limited. Property records show that the house of Ferrington Drive was transferred from Christopher Mark Harris to Tajiba Limited on October 31, 2001. Just a few weeks after the entity was incorporated in the BVI. That is the British Virgin Island, right? The purchase price for the property was 10 million or 217,000 US dollars. With Mr. Mark Golden and his wife, Sandra, signing respectively as Director and Director Secretary of Tajiba. Mr. Golden explained that Tajiba was set up for estate planning purposes and the choice of incorporation outside Jamaica for this purpose was commonplace among the private sector at the time. Before entering public life at the same time in 2007, Mr. Golden was a corporate lawyer who helped found the investment house there in Bunting and Golden. The DB&C was sold to Scotia Group over a period of time beginning in 2006. He had the entity connected to him, gross at least 588 million or around 8.9 million. Back then, according to 18 degrees north calculation shared with Mr. Golden, before publication that he didn't dispute. He and his associate later formed another investment company now known as Proven Group, which remains active today. Now I want to take this away and let me talk to the panel. All right. Now, Ratty, Maria, as it relates to that house and the year 2001 and what Zara Burton ought to know. The first thing what Zara Burton ought to know. Marian Rattigan, if you go back to the history, in the year 2001, right, members of parliament never used to publish their statutory declaration. Am I wrong or right?
When was this? 2001?
2001.
Yeah, I don't think there was no publication then, right?
There was no publication. So Zara need to have an understanding that when she's investigating, she needs to look at all the factors. What was the atmosphere at the time, right? So Zara need to get back there. What was the atmosphere at the time in 2001, right? There was no statutory declaration. You understand, that was made public, right? You agree with me, Ratty?
Yeah.
Right. Now, let me say this to Zara. Now, Mark Golin, right, did not involve in the political system when he had purchased that house. Wrong or right, Ratty?
Correct. It was in the private sector, I think. Yeah.
It was in the private sector.
Mm.
Now, this is where I'm going. I'm going to use Sandals, for example, right? Now, if Sandals, because we have Sandals group of companies, you understand, that go outside of Jamaica, right? The British Virgin Island and other Caribbean island, and where Sandals have businesses, right? Is it to say that Sandals CEO, right, because they are doing businesses in BVI, that they are dodging tax? Now, when it comes to entrepreneur, right, in terms of people seeking business, you, in terms of the growth of your business, Maria, entrepreneurs is going to seek what we call economic of scale. What do I mean when I say economic of scale? The growing and the expansion of your business, all right? So that if Mark Golden have a property and have an opportunity where, okay, he can purchase a property in the BVI, you understand? What is wrong with that? Maria, see if you can give me an insight on that in terms of Mark Golden in the private sector at the time, not in the politics. Not in the politics. Number one, what Zara Burton needs to also understand is, okay, Mark Golden can explain the source, you understand, in terms of how he achieved that from the various businesses that Mark Golden had. Right? So when you look at that, I can't understand why would Zara Burton prove something like this, Ratty?
Well, we had her on the program a while back, and this same issue was discussed. And I think she admitted that she mentioned it in her. If you can put up at the statement, put up at the report, I just want to show you something.
Yeah. Where do you want to go? You want it from the beginning?
Yes, please.
Okay.
That's yeah. All right, keep going on. Keep going on. One second. Stop right there. Yeah. Keep going. Keep go. Yeah, go down. All right, stop right there. The first thing is look at that. Look at the paragraph that begins with this statement raises question about whether the house Mr. Golden lives in was ever declared to the Integrity Commission. And look at the second part of that sentence. It says, and whether it was even required. And we went through that. Yeah, we went through that and we showed her that it was not required.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So then, take it away, homie. So my
question. And then there's also a piece in there where she said that a guy named Christopher Mark Harris was the one who transferred it.
Yes.
Yeah, if you go down a little bit more, let me see something. Oh, there it is. Property records show that the house at Farringdon was transferred from a Christopher Mark Harris to Tajibe Limited on October 31st, 2001. Yes. So we went back with her and we walked her through it, and I think we explained to her some satisfaction, hopefully to her satisfaction, that the way the form is set up, and we went back to we went to the form itself and showed her there's no requirement.
Exactly. So you tell me, you understand? I don't understand. To be honest, I really don't understand why the reason that Zara Burton would probe something. You understand? Mark Golden got all the I's and cross all the T's. That all the I's and cross the T. Mark Golden break no law. So then for Zara Burton to be probing this, I just don't get it. Period. Right? It is not like Holness, right? Who didn't have any businesses, and then all of a sudden this man got rich. Let us look at Andrew Holness. In 2016, when Andrew Holness gave that interview to Adska Fitz-Henley and told Fitz-Henley that he came into the politics with $47 million. It's a definite false lie.
And his wife was how compared for their wedding? That makes no sense.
You understand me? I said, so don't dare compare Mark Golden, you understand, with Andrew Holness. Because number one, in 2016, when he told Henley that he came in with $47 million into the politics, we know that in 1997, Andrew Holness came into the politics. But he graduated from university in 1994. So you have a 2 years gap there. 1994, 1995, and 1996. You tell me now that Mark Golden that Andrew Holness take 2 years. See how much? $47 million. Well, Ratty, we don't see him take 3 years.
I get 55. I get 55. Yeah, him beat the 42. It take 3 years and get 55. You're right. I must look feet. You're right. You're absolutely correct. It take 3 years and get 55.
But look at it now, Ratty. What Mark Golden, what Andrew Holness, you understand? I mean, I don't know. It seems like we have to call it now the manna fall from sky economics. Because it seems like manna falling from sky when it comes to Andrew Holness and bless Andrew Holness up. You understand?
Right.
Him take 2 years when they not the charity. You understand? Fiamas $47 million. And now we are seeing how we shall the Integrity Commission investigate him from 2020 to 2023. And it take 3 years. Fiamas much millions of dollars. Now you tell me. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, my thing is this. I have no problem in being fair and balanced in one's reporting. But I've always said to compare Mark Golding and Andrew Holness' finances is cheese and chalk, especially given that Mark Golding was a businessman, a corporate lawyer prior to getting into politics. So he had amassed a certain amount of wealth as in those particular fields before he got into politics. Now, when he entered, upon entering politics, and since his entry into politics, we have yet to hear his name being called on the siphoning off of taxpayer dollars.
Yes.
He was a senator, then he became a justice minister. And there was no investigation and no reporting of Mark Golding pilfering from the public purse when he was in those positions in the parliament.
Yes.
So if his name wasn't being called then in those situations, I don't see the purpose in creating a problem than trying to find an answer, a solution.
It's crazy.
So we can walk and chew gum at the same time, but we also have to take into consideration all the other factors before we come to a conclusion and try to make a story trying to besmirch somebody's character, because if this one is doing it then, and this argument that they told them the same thing, and if this one thief and that one going to thief, it is not true. And I also believe that there are good and honorable people within the Jamaica Labour Party, but for some reason they don't have the spine to stand up to Andrew Holness right now. But back to the Mark Golding issue, he had a very sound business there in Bunting and Golding. He sold the business. He sold it. And if it wasn't doing well, he would not have been able to sell it to Bank of Nova Scotia. Over a period of time he did that. So, walk and chew gum at the same time, but also be mindful of what one says and how the impact it can have on the conversations and the discourses that we're having right now, and how we're trying to edify and educate people, especially when it comes to being informed and educated voters. Mark Golding his name has never been called on anything to do with taking money from government coffers, taxpayer dollars, none of that. So don't try to create a problem and then go around and then it's like a person setting a fire to the building and then going out the fire. There's no need for that. There are other areas that one can challenge Mark Golding on. There are other areas. This is not it.
Exactly. And you know what? You understand, as it relates to the right honorable opposition, Mark Golding. I don't know if they are the incumbent honorable. I don't know why. I don't know what honorable I do I name it. So let us show Jamaica. You understand? As it relates to Mark Golding. Let us show Jamaica. You understand? Now, want the chair?
Yeah.
Okay, this is the bio on Mark Golding, right? The most honorable leader of the opposition, right? The most honorable Mark Golding is an attorney at law specializing in the areas of corporate finance, capital markets, and mergers and acquisitions. He has been lead counsel in many public and private sector issues of domestic and international debt and equity securities, and in several large corporate mergers and acquisitions. In 2011, he took a leave of absence from Art Mured Fata, the firm of which he has been a partner since 1993, to assume his appointment as Minister of Justice. Mr. Golding studied law at Oxford University, where he graduated with first-class honors. Wished to return home to practice. He attended the Norman Manley Law School in order to be called to the Jamaican bar and receive its prize for the most outstanding student of the class of 1987 to 89. He then won a Commonwealth Scholarship and continues his studies at the University of London, obtaining a master's degree in commercial and corporate law. In 1993, the opportunity arose for him to join with two young Jamaican investment bankers to form Jamaica's first investment bank, Deering, Bunting and Golding Limited. So we are talking about Mark Golding being the original businessman, the original entrepreneur, not Andrew Holness. The business flourished to become a leading and innovative part of Jamaica's financial landscape. In 2006, DB&G was acquired by the Scotia Group. In January 2010, he joined with some of his former DB&G colleagues to form Proven Investment Limited, an investment company which is listed on the Jamaica Stock Exchange. Mr. Golding served on the task force which performed the developmental work leading to the creation of the Financial Service Commission as Jamaica's regulatory for the securities, insurance, unit trust, mutual funds, and pension industries. He also represented the private sector organization of Jamaica and the Matalan Tax Reform Committee, and before the Joint Select Committee considering companies bill in 2004. Let me tell you, Jamaican people, Mark Golding is well established. When you see Mark Golding are going on to buy PhD, Mark Golding are going on buy PhD. Mark Golding study hard and work hard. As to those who they talk about them work hard for them own. You know, notice the 2 years where they work most hard is 2020 and 2021 in a COVID. At the time that they work hard, with no business, they make any profit. Andrew Holness and his motive, they make profit. We are SSL. No have no legitimate investment. Andrew Holness portfolio of return on investment. It's coming like a joke. Mr. Golding has been a director of several leading companies. You know, hear that, people? Including Grace Kennedy, the Bank of Scotia Jamaica, Kingston Wharves and Territories, the Caribbean region first credit rating agencies. He's the chairman of Mona Rehabilitation Foundation, founded by his late father, Professor Sir John. So Mark Golding is the chairman of Mona Rehabilitation Foundation. Andrew Holness is the chairman for SSL and was formerly the director of Food for the Poor Jamaica. He was appointed to Jamaica Senate by the leader of the opposition in September 2007. He served as the opposition spokesperson on Industry and Commerce until May 2011, and then as Shadow Minister for Justice until being appointed Minister of Justice in January 2012. Mr. Golding was first elected Member of Parliament for the South St. Andrew in 2017. In November 2020, he was elected as President of the People's National Party and became leader of the opposition. So let me say this to anybody who wants to try to show monkey wrench in a Mark Golding thing. No monkey wrench can show yourself, because Mark Golding is going to be the Prime Minister of Jamaica, whether people like it, yes or no. Take it away. So let us warn them.
We can't be too quick to want to, lump everybody in. We have to be willing to, look at things, in an objective way. Exactly. And like I said before, there are other issues that they can take Mark Golding to task about, but he does have some integrity. Yes, he is more for, because the truth is, a person's upbringing also helps to shape them, because he's shaped by his parents who gave up themselves to other people. Because when his father went to Jamaica to study at the University of the West Indies, University College Hospital it was at the time. Exactly. Shortly thereafter, there was Kendall crash, and he went down there. There was a polio outbreak, and when no other doctor would touch them, he was the one who went into the heart of it and took care of polio patients. And he created Mona Rehab to facilitate people who are otherwise able, to allow them to have some semblance of normalcy, to feel a part, but not to feel, because at the time, and maybe still now, they were ostracized by society. You know, anybody who was otherwise able was ostracized by the society. So when he built Mona Rehab, when he created Mona Rehab, it was to create that safe space for people who were otherwise able. And he grew up with a mother who was also a civil servant, you know, so he grew up around in that sort of environment where he understands the importance of giving of oneself and giving back. And like his name has not been called on stealing taxpayers' money. There's no reason to create that. He has started his businesses, created all of those things. Deal with him since he came into office, what he has acquired, what he has put in his statutory declarations. And if there are any discrepancies there, then we can have that conversation. But if you're going to go back to 2000, and that's why when I said with Andrew Holness, you have to go back to 2007, he was in Parliament. That's what I'm talking about. He was in Parliament, he was a minister of government, and Mark Golding did not start until 2017. No, before that, 2011, when he became spokesperson for things, and he was put in the Senate by Portia Simpson because Portia Simpson really mentored him, even though he was involved prior with the late Michael Manley and PJ and come on. So but he was still in the private sector doing this as a consultant, that sort of thing. But he was not involved in politics the way Andrew Holness is a career politician. He's a career. Andrew's job prior to, I wouldn't say go back to Andrew's job when he was a director at the non-for-profit or when he was Edward Seaga's assistant, because that would make no sense. Look at his career, what he has done since becoming a member of parliament. Judge him based on that. Analyze all of that, because that is where all of this comes from. But when you're looking at Mark Golding, to want to put his house from 2001, that I don't see where that makes any sense. Other issues there are other things that he can be quite, challenged about, but that's not it. This is not it.
Let me defend the Prime Minister there. Please put up that thing there from Anne-Marie, please. All right. Myra.
Yes.
See, that's a network grew. Look at the top. You see that, sir?
Network grew by $51 million, $555,076.22.
Yeah. So the man at work, man. Man at work.
Hard.
Yeah. Let me hear something else that in the report that is quite frightening.
Crazy.
When you see hold on, watch 95, 83. All right, look at this. 83, 82. All right. Hold on there. All right. Look at 5.8.72.
Yes.
This man has something else, Him get in. Look at this. Look at the third from the bottom. Look at the third line up where it says cardless cash deposits.
Yes.
The Prime Minister receiving his bank account, 4.5 million from ATM machines, where people went to ATM machines and deposited it. Wow. Right? And then claim later on that, it's a business partner who do it. The business partner who work in our office,
Conflict of interest, though? If that is so.
Exactly. Him said the man do it, and this was part of the rent and part of some advance payment that when ADMAT sold the interest or provided the interest to Imperium, that they're supposed to get like 6 million and then get 4 million. But look at what it says. It says the Director of Investigation finds it necessary to highlight the finding from the examination of Mr. Holness's JN bank account reference above. The transaction history associated with JN bank account number 85 and provided by the duly authorized officer at JN Bank indicates that between May and July 2020, 20 deposits classified as cardless cash deposits totaling 4.565 million were made to this account The evidence also shows that on September 16, 2020, an RTGS withdrawal of 6 million was made from this account. And look what them said. Them said, the very last sentence, it said the evidence further shows that if the deposits are made by an agent of the member, the depositor's identity is unknown, as was the case with the deposits made to Mr. Holness's account. Them said them don't know how to do it. But I want to show you one more thing. This is 125. I want to show you one more thing.
Less money just to give and draw less money, can't give you something.
This is
people just give him.
Exactly, Anne-Marie. They don't have money to give and they need it for themselves. Please.
Oh my goodness. Just have
All
to
right.
money for stuff.
Look on this. Look on this. It says the director of investigation highlights that the records submitted for Imperium and the explanations provided by Mr. Holness. Well, I'm going to big this up because this we're not to see that one now. If I'm not saying none other, we're not to see that one now. See that? The DI highlights that the records submitted from Imperium and the explanations provided by Mr. Holness to the Integrity Commission do not fully account for the transactions in Table 16 and 17 above. In this sense, Imperium's financial statements and other documentation for 2021 and 2022 do not account for the movement of over $72 million from Positive Media to Imperium, neither in 2021 nor 2022. Likewise, Positive Media's management accounts and other documentation submitted to the Commission do not account for the amount advanced to Imperium in 2021. So them don't know the money, them have no clue where the money are go and where the money are come from.
But you know what is coming to me now with the other members that are being investigated? It is going to be very interesting to see when the ICT report come out and those, if the dots are going to be connected right back to the Prime Minister, because they're behaving now as if they're a trapped animal in a trap that they're trying to eat their foot off or their feet off to get out of it.
Yeah,
so it's
that's what I'm going to do.
To see how many other members are involved in this sort of.
No, you know what me find hard to believe? You know me find really hard to believe? We find it hard to believe that our illustrious, erudite Prime Minister and his brilliant wife,
Dr. the Honorable, don't be rude. Dr. the Honorable.
Yeah, them don't have a joint account. At least not that we can see so far. I find that hard to believe that them don't have a joint account.
Maybe they do, but it is not captured in, it's not part of the 28. Maybe it's part of 29, 30, 31. You never know. So, you know.
Maybe it's an overseas account. Maybe it's an overseas account, but I find it hard to believe that them don't have one joint account. No, they search for him. So what I'm waiting for is for them to come out with her stuff.
Exactly.
Wet PR when I go say, because we believe that she's one of the six. We believe she's one of the six. We don't know. We don't know.
Ratty,
on the Integrity Commission, no, we just believe that she's one of the six.
Ratty, let us speak this before.
One second. As Fantastic Five to me now, could it be that his is not as bad as the others that are coming?
Lord jeez.
Well, that's happening, you know. Byron, I'm going to take off from work, you know. He must take off from work.
What must Ratty? What must?
He must take off.
Yeah, but if Byron went to car from work, Byron went to car from work, it is going to drive Wayne bonkers.
Yeah, that's not. I compare to the criteria. If you have a joint account with a constituency member, right? We have no relationship to him, and she just work at the constituency. And if you can't have a joint account with her, why can't have one of them wives?
But
why can't have one of them wives?
So many ministers is going to have joint accounts with.
So all this what Parliament is doing, you know, a deflection, you know, smoke screen, because they don't want the FID to dig in. But guess what? The FID is going to dig in. The FID is going to dig in.
With the FID, you know, also with the FID, when I think about it, and why I believe that the FID will have to operate though they're under the watchful eyes of the finance minister, and the finance minister's boss is the prime minister, they still have to operate independent and do their jobs per their charter. Because remember now that they are connected to international organizations to which they have to report. So if they're making reports, right, if they're going to make a report and not do, and the prime minister's one is sketchy, then that will not augur well for them, because then that will affect their ratings on the corruption indices. So I believe that the FID will have will do their jobs, and they have the power to reach out and ask for international help. But I do believe that they'll do their jobs because of their, the ramifications of not following through.
Exactly.
There is a, I'm looking it up now. Oh, here it is. There's a group called the Egmont Group of Financial Intelligence Units, and it's a global organization where all of these financial units, they come together and they help each other. And so this once they start looking at it, it's going to be shared. I can tell you that much. And they're going to be asking for help from the other folks.
Yes.
So this is going downhill fast. It's going
downhill fast. Downhill fast. And you know what I suspect, Ratty, that is one of the reasons why they want to deal with violence.
Right.
That is what they want to deal with violence, you understand?
Intimidation tactics.
Jamaican people are not going to get. Trust me. Right? Jamaican people are much smarter than that. Right? So we come to
that is why they didn't go to protest, because what are going to protest against their own interests? That makes no sense.
Exactly. Yes, Matty, you were saying something.
No, I was gonna say that somebody in the chat, and I've seen it. It's a constant theme that nothing is gonna happen over at FID. We don't know. We hope that something will happen, but it's a possibility because Jamaica is not a real place and things happen. So that's why I'm making the clarion call that people to support the One Jamaica Legal Defense Foundation so that we can start doing something here. Yeah. Because if we start put the pressure, this is where they fear the pressure the most. They don't really fear it in Jamaica. Because them can bad up 2 people and box down 2 people and make 2 phone calls and send 2 man pan yin yang and go look for them and that's it. But Yasa them can't do it. And Yasa is where the money have come from. Most of the money have come at here to come from. And from them people start apply pressure to them. And remember now, it is my belief, and I won't share more than just my belief. It's my belief that the US government, them have everything they need to have for the Prime Minister. Them have him hook, line, and sinker.
Because
I agree, Rattigan. What the IC doesn't know, the US government knows.
Of course.
One of the things that is going to be troubling for the Prime Minister, you see that 700,000 as it relates to that Citibank account.
Ah, yes. Yeah, it touches switch system.
It touches switch system, so that is very
that is
very
Let's start to cut it there, Rattigan. Let me expand by saying that I think that not only would the US government have everything on him, I'd also believe like Scotland Yard, the Five Eyes countries. You know what I'm saying? These countries with these advanced security apparatus in place, I'm sure they have these things. So when he goes to the UN, the UN started today, when he goes there and these people see these things, that they must look at him sideways, side-eyed, and how does he feel in his spaces? He has to feel like a fish out of water, because I'm quite sure they're going to look at him and wonder that how can this happen in a country as small as Jamaica, where the Prime Minister has 28 bank accounts, and many of these Prime Ministers I'm quite sure Biden doesn't have 28 bank accounts.
Well, let me tell you something. I can tell you the Five Eyes company, based on my experience, that the US, Australia, New Zealand, the UK, and Canada, that they're very, very close, right? And they share information. I can tell you that there's somebody at the US Embassy who got this report read this report. It went to a committee and they tore this thing apart, and a cable went from the embassy to the State Department. So, and that went a long time because people were right through the night, and they took this thing to apart. Plus, they compared with information they have. That information got here way before he got here, and so that information they share that. The Five Eyes and other people, so they already know, and them say, "Yeah, see me come here, that one, yeah, I want the thing at Jamaica, yeah," and they must smile up in their face and shake him, and you know what? Them exactly. Say, "Yeah, man, yeah." And in fact, one of the things that they'll do, the American, if I talk to like somebody from like maybe Belgium or something like that, him say, "Listen, me have a walk over." And he said, "The man who me shake him and he might crook," and them just walk over and shake him and say. And smile up with him. And if I don't say I mark, them just don't mark him out. Them just don't mark him out, say, yes, he crook. So.
I say, whatever you're doing, when you're talking to him, do not mention the numeral 28.
Right. Yeah. So it's just, and it's 28 and counting. It's 28 and counting, 28 and counting. But listen. There's so much inside of this report. I'm telling you, every day I read it, I find something new. Every day I read it, I find something new.
Yes.
I mean, just read it for tonight's program. I did a sketch on just the Barita loan, and there are things that I saw tonight this is like my third time going over it, and there are things I saw tonight that I didn't see before. Yes. So. There is this story going around for quite a while.
Exactly. Yeah, and every well-meaning Jamaican who have read it have said it is a lot. It's 171 pages. You have to do it in pieces, in small amounts. Right. But it is damning. It doesn't matter. One person was saying, "Oh, the Prime Minister having 28 accounts is not a big deal." Many people. Which sane person has 28 accounts and a Prime Minister? That makes no sense. No sense. There are some businesses that don't have 28 accounts. Who is monitoring these accounts? Who?
Not him. Because if you look at some of the accounts, there's one account where he had no transaction for about 4 years. 4 years, no transaction.
Yes, you're right.
And then where he had one transaction this year, then a year would go by, no transaction, and the following year he had one transaction. No, I'm not accusing the Prime Minister of being a money launderer. I'm not doing that. I don't have the evidence. All I'm saying is that based on my experience from what I've seen, this is exactly how some of these guys will operate. Exactly how they operate. Exactly. And how you can have 28 accounts, you have to do a PhD, and you have to try and you have all this banking thing going on, and then you manage the country. Something I forgive. This Saturday, by the way, I'm having on a dear friend of mine, a former UN ambassador for the Turn Back Crime program in South Africa, Under Mashiel. He's coming on. He just got appointed to an integrity commission in the largest province in South Africa. He's very familiar with Jamaica. He's very familiar with this issue, and he's coming on because South Africa have some of the same issues, but the difference is that them hold for them leaders accountable. See Zuma, them charge people, A lot of people them don't charge still, but them charge people and them charge people at the top. About time we start doing that. So he'll be on and he'll give his opinions as to what's going on here and how we could address this thing. And the last thing is that we have become the laughing stock all over the world. I'm getting calls from people who say, "Yeah, your Prime Minister, oh man, what a crook." People come and tell me this. Them say, "Yeah, we've seen the report. And that guy is as guilty as sin. That guy is as crooked as the day is long." These are things people have been telling me. Exactly. Because they've gone through the report and they've said, "Why would he do that to your country? Your country is so poor. Why would he do that to your country?" And I said, "Man, it is what it is. Whatever you read in the report." And if you notice, I haven't heard anyone come out and say, "This particular thing in the report is incorrect." I haven't heard that. The closest we heard was one vlogger who got it all wrong, who said that the corruption prosecutor looked at the report, giving the impression that she looked at it in its entirety, and give him a clean bill of health. Say, I'm not sure. When there's only one issue.
Charles said today too. Charles said as much today in the Parliament in the Integrity Commission meeting that there's nothing here. So yeah.
So somebody can point to him and say, "There's nothing here." That's what I'm point at. Yeah, there's nothing there. Yeah. Them shall say, if you read the report and you say that, then there's nothing here.
Yes, exactly. No bread. All right. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, locally and in the diaspora, I think we come to the end of the program for tonight. It was a well, edified program, and I really glad for everyone to pass through. So we are going to go to the panelists and for them to exert their last word as it relates to Sister Maria. You want to go ahead as it relates to your
just being facetious. I'm wondering if Andrew has an addiction. People have various addictions. I wonder if he has an addiction to opening bank accounts. This one, no, I'm going to open one tomorrow. No, I'm going to open another one tomorrow. It just came to my head. I'm just being facetious. No, but when I look at it, I think to myself, I think about the poor children who cannot go to school tomorrow because their parents don't have anything to send them to school.
Yes.
I think about the hospitals, fire stations, I think about the teachers, the nurses, the public servants who, can't even, if they have one, they can't even keep it open because they don't have any money to put in there. And you have a prime minister, their prime minister has 28 bank accounts. He's just moving money around and, 47 million there, 50 million there. And you look at it and you say, and what about the people in his constituency? What quality of life do they really have?
Exactly.
Their lifestyle. And look at his lifestyle. And it's not about envying him for anything, not about not wanting him to be successful or to have a good quality of life. But it should not be so exorbitant and so in your face. The corruption is so brazen that there's no hiding from it. And when people come out and say there's nothing to see here, claim that they read the report, people who are educated and say there's nothing to see here, certify the man's thing and move on, they're just as bad, if not worse than he is. And the best thing that the Prime Minister should do is remove himself from the public space right now. Allow this to play out. And if his name is cleared, then, he can come back into the fray. But until then, he should remove himself and let justice take its course. And he cannot be crafting legislation to hold him accountable, but that same legislation does not apply to him. The same standard should apply. If it doesn't apply, then he doesn't have the moral ground on which to stand to hold anybody in Jamaica accountable for anything that they do.
Thank you, Maria, for that. Rachi, please take it away.
Yeah, I'll be very brief. The Prime Minister made an impassionate speech or plea in Parliament last week, and he said that he has worked hard for everything that he has. I need to remind him, as they've constantly reminded us here, that there is something called Brand Jamaica. And I just want him to know that when he says he's working hard to destroy that brand Jamaica. Whatever it is, he's working hard to destroy it. And he's done more to destroy it with this report than anything I've seen in a long time. This report is so damning that Jamaica it's gone beyond him, where people are now looking at the country of Jamaica and criticizing Jamaica and its institutions simply because of the acts of the Prime Minister as documented by the Integrity Commission. Now, what do we do? First of all, people, if you really care about Jamaica, put your party aside just for this moment, just for this conversation we're having now. Put your partisanship aside and think about Jamaica as the country, not the party, but the country. And if you can look at Jamaica in a neutral sense and read this report and tell me that the Prime Minister don't do nothing, you don't see nothing wrong with it, then you're lying to yourselves, people. And you don't mean Jamaica well. If you mean Jamaica well, you have to be independent and objective when it comes to issues like this. This is beyond partisanship. If you believe what the Integrity Commission is saying, this is criminal. This is criminal. When you send it over to FID is not looking for civil action. It's criminal. That's what they're saying. They're saying we can't, there's not enough. Well, what they're saying is that we look at it and the Prime Minister didn't give us certain things, and there are things that we can't account for. He can't account for it. So tell you what, let's just send it over to FID and let them take care of it. Even though we have the remit to conduct financial investigations, they have a more significant remit to deal with it because they deal with money laundering. They deal with financial scams, investigations of the kind that we're not experts at. And so if you truly believe in your country, if you truly believe that you really want to see Jamaica progress, you have to admit that it cannot progress like this. And the only thing you can do at this point, based on the report that we have seen, and the fact that we haven't heard any meaningful objection to the specifics in the program, then you must condemn the Prime Minister. You must condemn him and ask him to leave. He's not going to be leaving gracefully because his reputation is when I'm saying it want to save again, not his reputation. There's something else him say. Legacy, his legacy. Legacy. Tarnished beyond repair. Tarnished beyond repair. So people, join us as we continue on this road to deciphering what's in this report, because there's a lot to unpack. Keep an open mind, and if you can, read the report, and at some point you're going to have to come to the realization that the Prime Minister must go. We cannot have him as the leader. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you for that, Ratty. And we just want to again remind the people as it relates to the One Jamaica Legal Defense Foundation in terms of holding our politicians accountable, right? So please support. And I want to say to all of our Jamaicans, locally and in the diaspora, please, right? We only have a few more days that it relates to enumeration, right? For those persons who have not yet enumerated, please, Mystic Sensation is begging you, right, to go out and be enumerated.
I think there's going to be another phase.
And those who are already enumerated, they must check the voters' registration to make sure everything on there is correct.
Make sure, right? Because it has to be vote. I don't want people to watch the sides of the conference and say, okay, all right, we're gone with it already. People, vote. Right? Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. We want back Jamaica. And it's the only way we are going to get back Jamaica when we put that X beside the head. And wifey, you have anything to say?
I'm just gonna say that Andrew's legacy is gonna be the worst and most destructive prime minister that Jamaica has ever seen. And he's brought the office down to the lowest of the low.
Okay.
That's all I have to say.
I agree.
All right. Ratty.
Yes, brother.
Blessings and greetings and good night, Ratty, Mystic. Much respect and honor. Yeah, man.
All right. People in the chat locally, right? Loving you all, and thank you most of all for the support to continue to support Mystic Sensation. We love you. You understand? And we are fighting together to have a better Jamaica. Thank you. Love you all.
Yeah.
All right.
Safe travel on the gravel. Until next time.
All right.
27 minutes.